The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
20.
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this massive Overreaction Monday, June 30th, 2025. This program begins now. Sports are happening in a big way. We got a lot of news, a lot of conversations. There's been a massive trade or trades happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins that we'll dive into here in about 4 minutes with Adam Schefter, who broke the news, I believe, from the Oakmont Country Club in Plumboro, Pennsylvania. Huge news early. Jalen Ramsey's now a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Whoa! Wow.
Jonnu Smith, also a Pittsburgh Steeler. Minkah Fitzpatrick, no longer a Steeler. He's once again a Miami Dolphin, alongside a couple late round draft swaps almost between the Steelers and the Dolphins. Huge news this morning. Jalen Ramsey being traded had been a conversation that's been taking place for like a month now. Had a big price tag, like $24 million or something along those lines. Who was going to pay? Who was going to make the trade? Who was going to have Jalen Ramsey on their team? At the age of 30, still in the middle of his prime, 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler. Do we agree?
Very much so. Very much in his prime. Just got re-upped, a couple years ago, so hate to see him leaving the Dolphins, obviously.
A lot of people, obviously, Darius Butler, massive Dolphins fan,
Huge.
South Florida boy, but he has picked up some other teams as well because the Miami Dolphins have not had much success. Now, when they bring Jalen in, they bring Tyreek in, obviously they draft Tua, they start spending all their resources on trying to win in a big way, and now it basically everybody's gone. Ramsey was supposed to go back maybe to L.A. to be on the Rams. Then the Steelers conversation started to kind of chime in. Now we know Jalen is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Minkah Fitzpatrick is now a Miami Dolphin. And Jonnu Smith, who's a tight end for the Miami Dolphins, that was allegedly being shopped to the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last few weeks. But was he just trying to get a deal done? Was he just utilizing the media and insiders, his agent, to get a little leverage so that the Miami Dolphins feel obligated to pay Jonnu Smith, all-pro, great football player for the Miami Dolphins? Well, now we know Jonnu Smith was actually being shopped, actually trying to get traded, and Jonnu Smith is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. So now the Pittsburgh Steelers had DK Metcalf at $30 million a year at wide receiver. They had Aaron Rodgers at $10 million a year. They just bring in Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. And, oh, yeah, Darius Slay also on the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt's deal still looming, lingering out there. $40 million is what Myles Garrett got paid annually. How are you able to pay everybody, including Jalen and now Jonnu Smith? And obviously you had DK with the $30 million a year. Aaron Rodgers not getting paid a lot of money at the quarterback position, which is good news. But how are you able to get all this done? Who knows? Who cares, says the Yinzers. Let's go to one half of the hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone already got a Ramsey jersey.
Yeah, already got a Ramsey jersey. That's awesome. Shout out shipping, got here just like a couple minutes ago.
Is that like a throwback Steelers? I don't remember those colors ever representing the Pittsburgh.
I think the website that I ordered from got the colors wrong, so I'll send it back after the show. I don't want to say who it was.
Who was it?
Yeah.
Starts with an F.
Football.
Okay. Football.
Yeah.
But no, this is what you call going all in this offseason for the Steelers. And you ask, how are they going to afford this? The con artist is going to figure that out. He is a numbers guy, a numbers cruncher.
Omar Khan.
Yes, Omar Khan.
Who is the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Before he became the GM, he was the the cap guy, the pseudo cap guy for years and years and years. So he's going to get that done. You bring in all these guys, and they're going all in for this season. This is not a, hey, we're going to tank for a quarterback next year type season. This is, hey, we are looking at right now, we are not a rebuild situation. This is, we're going to win a Super Bowl this year with these guys. It's awesome. Now, we did lose Minkah. I will not say anything bad about Minkah Fitzpatrick ever. For years and years and years, he was by far one of the best players on the team, was always a stalwart in the secondary. But if you would have told me yesterday, hey, we're trading Minka for Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey, I would have taken it. It'll be interesting to see what they do at the safety position. But no, this is awesome. This was just what we needed today.
Yeah, and this is huge news, and this is a lot of the football rumors kind of ending.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it coming out of the Miami Dolphins camp. Now that is going to slow down to a sizzle. I can't wait to hear what Miami Dolphins fan at Bubba Gumpino, the other half of the hammer, Dahn Cowboys. Dolphins got players still on the roster.
Yeah, Minka, glad to have him back. Hate that we lost Jonnu, literally our best player last year. We're going to have to hit the free agency mark because we don't really have a tight end and we need some cornerbacks.
Well, that's the thing about the free agency market. Nobody had been doing that already.
There's a lot left out there. We're going fishing, you know?
Good luck to the Dolphins down there. We love McDaniel. We love Tua. We love Miami. We love the fact that they're, they got great uniforms that look very similar to the one that AP Tone is wearing right now.
Tyreek's still fast.
Yes, he is. Faster than he was last week, I believe. Saw the video.
Positive.
Love Tyreek Hill and his ability to play football and get open and everything like that. Waddle's awesome. At one of the greatest celebrations.
Yeah, by far.
In all of sport.
Yeah, I mean, untouched, really.
That's Doc's Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. A couple things to go back to there. The Con artist, which some people who might be watching don't know, that is Omar Khan. He's the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is a favorable nickname.
Yes.
That is like, hey, this guy is an artist. His last name's Con. And it kind of goes together with a negative kind of terminology and calling somebody a con. But in these deals, he always feels like he's getting a good deal. He's a good deal maker. He was a salary cap guy for a very long time. Knows the ins and outs of it all. I also think that Omar Khan knew, because for a long time, general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers was Kevin Colbert. Since like the beginning of time, he was there. So then Omar Khan becomes general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So how the Pittsburgh Steelers had been run, everybody assumed was just going to maintain the same way. Hey, this is how the Steelers do it. This is how the Steelers do it. This is how the Steelers do it. Now he's changing things up in a big way. Coach Tomlin's changing things up in a big way. And I think it's because they heard the outside noise of all the insiders saying, we're tired of being 9-8.
Yeah.
You have an over 500 winning record. We are proud of you. That is awesome. But it leaves us in purgatory. They're making massive moves that they don't normally do, D-Bud.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily the Steeler way as it's been over the years, but you're in a division. I think 2 top 5 quarterbacks and pretty good teams around them. Obviously, the Ravens are clearly, I think, the number 1 team going into this season, but you never know where Joe Burrow is going to be. And then bringing in a guy like Jalen Ramsey. Like, he is a guy, he's a needle mover. He can do everything in the secondary. Actually, it was a video from about 4 years ago in the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast where he kind of talked about that.
But me personally, my style, I like Charles because I think, even though I say Deion is the best corner to play the game, I say Charles is the best defensive back to play the game. Because he played multiple positions in the secondary. He played corner, he played safety, he played nickel.
He did.
He did a bunch of different stuff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he affected the game in so many different ways.
He did.
And, me coming to LA, like that's kind of a role that I've started to be in a little bit. Like I'm still on the edges, on the corner, majority of the time. But here and there, they starting to, let me be me a little bit more, mix it in, playing a little bit of nickel, and then at some point in my career, if it take me there to safety, I want to do that as well. But I want to have the mix of all. So that me looking at it, that's who I say. If I had to pick one person, I'd pick Charles.
Shout out $1 million worth of game.
Yeah, for sure. And that was 4 years ago. So now he's going into year 10, still playing on the outside at a very high level, can play on the inside. One of the gripes he had with Fangio when he was in Miami was he didn't let him match up, didn't let him go inside a ton. And you put him on the Steelers defense, he could be in that star position where he played at Florida State and really impact the run game and the pass game. Phenomenal player. He talked about C. Wood. C. Wood won the Defensive Player of the Year at age 33 back in 2009 with the Green Bay Packers. So he's a player that can do this. It's just going to make everybody around him better as well.
I love that. Let's see if that's the plan. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who was part of the news break this morning from, I believe, one of the hardest golf courses on earth, right there in the hills of Pittsburgh. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Shefty!
Shefty, we'll get to you golfing at Oakmont here in a bit and you being in play Plum, our hometown, which we hope you go pay your respects to Rudy Subs. Get a whole Italian hot lettuce, onion, mayo, fries, cheese on the side, Turner's jug to go. Let's talk about this deal. We just showed that $1 million worth of game clip from 2021, and D-Butch has talked about Jalen Ramsey in very high regard whenever it comes to being a D-back in the NFL, with how athletic he is, how diverse he is, how everything really comes together if they let him. Are the Steelers planning on utilizing Jalen Ramsey in any certain ways, do we know at this point? And Minka heading out of town, what does that mean for the Steelers following that?
Well, it means they have an opening at safety. They've been very active this offseason in adding Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey. I think it gives them options in the secondary, Pat, about how they want to go about doing this. Obviously, Joey Porter Jr. also is there. They've got a ton of defensive backs right now. And it always felt to me like Pittsburgh was the most likely destination. It never felt like the Rams or the Chargers were going to be able to do their part financially to make a trade like this happen. The Steelers not only made it happen, but gave Jalen Ramsey a raise for this coming season. So that tells you how much they wanted him. They've been talking about him all along. It becomes a very complicated trade here. Certainly for the time of the year that we're in, the last day of June, you get a trade like this that involves two players who have been three-time All-Pro selections. And you see Minka Fitzpatrick on that initial list of Steelers start. Well, he was a part of the deal. Steelers wanted Jonnu Smith to reunite him with Arthur Smith. They get him in this package as well. And I mean, to me, it says, yes, Pittsburgh is going all in, spending whatever it takes. They go and get Aaron Rodgers. They go and get Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. It has been a very unconventional Steelers-like offseason with all the players that they've added, including DK Metcalf. This is like a remade roster. The one question I have in all of this now is, and we haven't talked about it a whole lot, what about TJ Watt?
Yeah.
Everybody just has assumed, rightfully, that the two sides will figure it out. But I don't think they're very close right now. And I don't think that he's particularly pleased. Now, it could change just like that, and they could figure out a way to get it done. But you know what? They just gave Jonnu Smith more money. They just gave Jalen Ramsey more money. They haven't given TJ Watt more money. And you just wonder how that's going to play out here in the coming weeks. Again, he's such a part of the team, you cannot imagine him not being there.
Yes.
But you would think that this situation would be settled by now, and it's not.
Yeah, I agree, Schefter. And I would like to let everybody know that if you were to go back and watch the tape, I would ask on a very regular basis, hey, if everything's good, why is TJ not there? You know, if everything's just going to be A-OK, why does he feel obligated to take a $170,000 fine of missing mandatory minicamp? If everything was okay, you would think a guy who's a staple and a pillar of the team would have been there. I'm not saying there's any issues, but I've just asked the question on a regular basis because, like, everybody else is saying they think a deal's going to get done. I think TJ not going is him saying, is it? I don't know if a deal's going to get done. And now let's get back to the point of what you said there about paying Jalen more money and Jonnu more money. Kaboli put this tweet up here. Kaboli said, well, he's been told the Steelers view Jonnu Smith as a tight end, a slot wide receiver, and a fullback. They will use him in a very hybrid way in Arthur Smith's offense. And they see Jalen Ramsey as an outside corner, slot corner, and he can take some snaps at safety, says Mark Kaboli. With that being said, if you're going to utilize the shit out of them, you would obviously want to pay them more. I thought a lot of people didn't want Jalen because they didn't want to pick up the entirety of the contract. Do we know if they've picked up all the money from both these contracts, or are the Miami Dolphins having to pay any bills?
Yeah, I don't know the full breakdown of that. There have been a lot of missed calls in this flurry of activity, and I don't have the full answer to that at this particular time. Yeah, Pat, I got to tell you something. It was a very surreal scene, right? I've never been to Oakmont. I get invited. I'm in your backyard here in Plum, Pennsylvania.
Hell yeah.
And I walk into the locker room, and the only thing I wanted to see was, where did Wyndham Clark kick in that locker? Is it still here, right? So I took a picture of it. I could send it over. We could put it up. It's still there. And some of the members want to fix it. I'm like, you can't fix that. So I walk in. I see the locker, and right when I walk in, I see Neil Shipley, the great former amateur golfer who's on tour, and he's incredible. Like, I've watched Neil Shipley all the time, and I'm talking to Neil Shipley, and I get the trade that Jalen's going down, and I go to post. You know what I learned about Oakmont? The men's locker room? no Wi-Fi because I was posting for a few minutes and it wasn't going through, and then I went running out to go post it. So there's no Wi-Fi in the men's. You're not missing anything there, Pat, but this place is pretty magical. So the trades all come down, whole flurry of activity. Again, the Steelers have stepped up and they're paying all these guys right now except TJ Watt. I mean, that's really the deal right now. And Miami's made a lot of changes here with a lot of team captains that are no longer there in Miami. So it becomes very interesting for them as well. Big change you're not expecting here in late June.
Calais Campbell also not there, obviously. We talked about that was like the beginning of this entire thing whenever Gumpy was losing his mind. Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, Armstead, I forget if that he was mentioned. He's one of their captains, too. I think someone tweeted it was 4 of their 5 captains or 3 of their 5 captains are gone now.
Interesting to see how it goes. Jalen Ramsey is now the 4th Dolphins captain. You actually tweeted it, Schefter. Yeah, okay, smart. From last season, no longer on the team in 2025. Armstead, Calais Campbell, and David Long. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, I believe Tyreek Hill was a captain last year, too, and I don't think he'll be a captain going into this year. I think he said he's got to earn that respect back with the team. What is the relationship right now with Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins?
The way I understand it, I think people are counting on him bouncing back, having a big season. He's got a lot to prove. I'm sure with all the money going around to wide receivers, he's going to want to get paid again. I think Tyreek Hill has a chance to really bounce back and have a big time kind of year. I think that's what people in the organization are expecting out of him this upcoming season. It'll be up to him to do that. But again, a lot of changes around him, and they're counting on Tyreek Hill to come through.
Okay, so the only thing we're really thinking about here or trying to figure out is if Miami's paying any of Jalen's salary, right? That is still potentially a piece of information we don't know?
I would think that they're paying something. I mean, I think Jalen gets more money out of this, and I think they had a finagle. I can't imagine that the Steelers took on the entire contract and gave him a raise. That would not be, in my mind, something that's practical. I don't think, but again, you have to see how it played out.
Okay, and Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, you might go visit them downtown, or you can go down to UPMC. Are they done in this whole department? Obviously, TJ Watt lingering, and do you think this is going to be the new norm for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, this is not what they've done, and I think that they have to be done because there really is no other priority other than TJ Watt. And this team, there has not been a team in the league the last couple of years that has inquired about and checked into more wide receivers than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that's what we're seeing here with Jonnu Smith being viewed as a weapon because they wanted somebody else to step forward. They're expecting that Calvin Austin's going to be their number 2 wide receiver. From what I understand, Roman Wilson, the former second-round draft pick from Michigan, has looked strong during OTAs for whatever that's worth. And now you get a guy like Jonnu Smith to mix in with DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, Robert Woods. And I think that they feel like this guy can be shifted all around. Arthur Smith knows how to use him. It's the 3rd different franchise that Arthur Smith has worked with Jonnu Smith. They were together in Tennessee. They were together in Atlanta. And now they'll be together in Pittsburgh again. And I think, they got Aaron coming in at quarterback. And when you're doing that, you're trying to do everything you can to give him one last run in what looks like is his last season. So they seem to be all in with that one lingering issue that's outstanding right now.
Darius Slay missing from the graphic. That was on us, not on Dirty, who put this together. This thing looks filthy. But also, Pittsburgh people got to be like, Pittsburgh's place to be. Been fucking saying it for years. Excited for all these people, all these guys, to get to learn about the Pittsburgh football culture, too. Like what it's going to be like to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and learn the building. Going to be great to have them in the city. You talk about wide receivers and the Steelers snooping around on them. There's one big name at wide receiver position that there's still a convo about before you tee off at Oakmont, and I assume shoot at 250.
Oh.
I think you might be generous. You might be about 275.
Go ahead, Ty.
Shefty, last time we talked to you, we mentioned how Terry McLaurin and Washington are pretty far apart on his new contract. He's not happy about that. Has there been any progress with that whole situation, or do you have any kind of update there?
That's a tough one. I know there's no update, which is the update, and that's the problem. The problem is with this particular situation, I think Terry McLaurin is going to argue that we've seen other wide receivers who his numbers are comparable to, like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and DK Metcalf, get paid over $30 million a year this offseason. And I think the Commanders then can say yes, but Mike Evans, who also has had comparable numbers, is at $24 million. So there really is quite a difference and a gap between what both sides would want. They have not made any progress. I would think that we'll see if there are any teams that decide to come snooping around Terry McLaurin to see if they could try to pry loose Terry McLaurin, who, by the way, I cannot envision the Commanders moving on from, no matter how disgruntled he may be. Again, it's sort of like TJ Watt. You can't imagine that these two sides, as far apart as they are today, wouldn't be able to somehow find a way to bridge their differences and figure out a solution. But today, McLaurin and the Commanders are not close. Watt and the Steelers are not close. And those will be two of the storylines that we are tracking as we get ready for training camp.
Couple great players. We'd love to see them play for the Indianapolis Colts at quite a discounted rate. And welcome them to our city.
Pat, every team in the league would love to see Terry McLaurin or TJ Watt playing in their city. Everybody.
Not as much in Indianapolis, though.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Indianapolis wants them more than the other cities.
Yeah, J.W. Marriott will put a picture of both of them.
That's right.
It looks cool. They would have to play at quite a discounted rate, I would say. It would certainly be a year to prove it, but we'd love to have them. All right, Shefty, good luck out there, man. How is your game?
Terrible. I was walking down with Neil Shipley. I'm like, what will you shoot today? He goes, about a 70, give or take a few strokes either way. 67 if I'm playing well, 73. I said, there he is. Hey, come on.
Big dog.
Hey, see that?
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you, dude.
Yeah, you can't. I got my earbuds in, so otherwise.
Hey, Schefter, will you translate for us? Hey, will you tell him that we think he looks good, and it's great to see him, great hair?
They think you look great, and they love your hair. They think I should be growing my hair the same way you have yours.
I didn't say that, Schefter. Don't fucking Schefter. Thank you, Neil. All right, good luck out there.
He's shooting at 67 today. I'm shooting about 167
Hey,
today.
can you ask him how similar it is to when the U.S. Open was there, how it is today? Like how you're going to play on it versus...
Neil, is it similar to the way the U.S. Open was when they play here now or not?
Close. It's a little shorter now.
Close. The rough is a little shorter, he says.
Okay, and ask him, how do I become a member at that place? I just got to pay the fee? I got to get invited?
You know what? I was actually going to talk to people, but I don't want to overstep my back. Pat wants to know what he has to do to get out here and play around.
I'll be a member.
This is awesome.
We got to get that done. We're going to work on that, Pat. I'm here 2 days, okay? And by the way...
Are you staying there?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That would be if I.
There it is.
I don't know how you become a member,
On
but
the
that
course?
in
That's the dream. Yeah.
I've never even been there. I've never.
A huge shout out to Joe Schmidt and Steven Eisenberg who invited Pat. I don't know what I'm doing. Like
Eisenberg and Schmidt, the boys.
Come on now.
Obviously,
can you come out? I'm like, sure, I got nothing going on. Like, there's nothing going to happen in the NFL. It's not like there's going to be 3 players traded in the morning that I go to Oakmont. It's not like I'm going to walk into the locker room and see Neil Shipley. It's not like I'm going to be admiring Wyndham Clark.
Hey, what up, dude?
Oh, look at this guy.
How we doing, dude?
With 2.
Hey, how's Michigan doing? How we looking?
He wants to know how's Michigan doing.
Great.
He's great. Kick everybody's ass.
That's Wink, defense coordinator from Michigan, obviously formerly of the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants.
He's in my foursome today, too.
That's Oakmont, baby.
That's one of the greatest minds in the history of ball right there, that guy. Also, grade A good time haver.
Yeah.
Grade A. All right, we appreciate the hell out of you, Schefter. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Schefter.
Yeah, Schefter.
Wink Martindale's the guy.
How about that?
What cameo?
Wink loves the show. He loved the pod, too. Speaking of.
Yeah, wait, I remember that. Yeah.
When are you guys bringing season 2 back?
Good question.
Dude,
Season 2 of what?
Hear that.
Season 2 of what?
There's been
The pod.
Oh, I think that's one of those things where you thought something existed, but it actually never.
No, this isn't.
this isn't the moon landing, Tony. This is
no,
the
Mandela effect.
The Mandela. Well, you remember it differently.
Like Shaq being in Kazam. The pod never existed. So what could we
Tony,
bring back?
come on. We've been in the writers' room the last, I don't know, 8 months, just hammering out episode after episode after episode after episode. So we're getting close. We're getting close. It's one of those things where we really don't want to release it until it's perfect.
That writer's strike really slowed things down.
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's still affecting us today.
YouTube TV. I heard they were trying to reach out to the pod.
Yeah, I bet they were.
Is that what you guys?
Yeah.
Need it
Yeah,
back.
just
Mr. Kim.
preliminary discussions, exactly. So there's just a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of people tell me it's me. This is just so you, Foxy, will you please?
Yeah, 100%.
This is not us. We're the biggest party acts you guys got, bro.
Since day one.
It's Mr. Kim, man. Look, you mentioned him there, and I know he doesn't like to be talked about, but Mr. Kim, there's a few things that we thought he would love. Mr. Kim didn't love them.
Really?
So we had to go back to the drawing board, but now we are almost at the point where Mr. Kim has given us the okay.
Well, I'm excited for you guys to deal with Mr. Kim and to meet Mr. Kim someday.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, he's a tough son of a bitch to get a hold of. So.
I know the pod's got different representation. I understand. You guys been through a couple of these, and it feels like Mr. Kim is the right one for you guys.
I think he is the one.
Have we heard an episode of the pod since Mr. Kim has come around?
He might not
No,
be
not
right
at all.
No,
he's trying to bury them.
He might not be.
That's what, as a Pontiac? You're
Same,
a fellow Pontiac?
huge Pontiac.
Mr.
Foxy, Pontiac?
Biggest Pontiac on earth.
No, you're not bigger than me, brother.
I guarantee I am, all right?
Anyways, we missed your show.
We miss it too, man.
YouTube TV is looking at it and wondering, and they're also, they try to get avid sports fans to feel more at ease.
Okay.
Hey, you look a little uptight. Relax.
Okay, fine.
They know that you want access. All right, fuck it. They have access to all their favorite sports and live TV. YouTube TV is the greatest. Okay, YouTube TV, obviously the developers of the Quad Box. They're the people that said, you know what, this is what everybody's going to want eventually anyways. How are you able to keep up with all the sports happening at one time? What if you happen to have 11 games on in the same time slot? What if you happen to have 10 games on at the same time? What if there's multiple sports taking place, NHL, NBA happening at the same time? And my favorite show.
Yeah.
YouTube TV says you should be able to watch it all. And then when one goes to commercial, go ahead and just bop over to the other one or bop up to the top right quadrant. Or how about this? Top left, leave it there. Listen to one particular thing like Red Zone and then have 3 other games on happening at the same time. YouTube TV said, let's go ahead and give you an assist, an alley-oop, if you will. So shout out to YouTube TV. And whenever you hit that QR code, 2 months, $59.99. It's a great deal.
Great deal.
Came in clutch actually last night during the PGA playoff and the start of the United States men's soccer game. Could have both of those on at the same time.
Yeah, the soccer game for the men, don't look now, we got a team.
We do.
Now, LeBron James might be leaving the Lakers. That's big news.
What?
The quote's the quote.
What are you talking about?
It's a possibility.
He just opted in.
He opted in, then he said, what's the future look like? And then, Shams Charania saying, hey, they're looking to see what the Lakers do. They want to win championships. Want to win championships.
Makes sense.
What does that mean? We'll talk to Shams Charania in about 35 minutes or so. Can't wait to get the latest on that. Feels like LeBron's going to be a Laker, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure.
We shall find out what Sham says, and do we know at this exact moment? When you talk about most craziest offseason ever, LeBron being a part of it, Giannis being a part of it, when will moves be made? Kevin Durant already traded. I mean, these are legends of the NBA. We'll talk to Shams in a bit. The United States men's soccer team, though, good.
Yeah.
We got a team.
All the way back.
Tough.
We got a real team.
Yes.
We got dogs, and we got a coach that looks in the camera and says, what do you want from me? I love everything about it.
I feel like such a dickhead for ever questioning Pete Pochettino. I do. After watching that yesterday, not only just what he's wearing, too. He's got the suit, but he's like, I'm going to be casual. I'm not going to wear a tie. He's got the black tee under it. I mean, we got the guy.
He was talking to America right there.
Exactly.
Saying, come on.
Yeah.
Let's go. We got a team. A lot of the stars aren't playing in this Gold Cup. And we just beat Costa Rica. We're moving into the semifinals. Hey, did Canada? I saw they were in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup as well.
Really?
Yeah, no, I lost in a shootout.
Oh, you guys lost in shootout? Well, we won a shootout because we got a guy named Matt Freese, who's 6'4" out of Harvard. He got his hand. He blocked 3 out of 6 penalty shots last night. Got his hand on 5 out of 6, I do believe.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're talking about an absolute dog. This guy's a specimen. Now, this is his first time playing goalie for us in a full-time rate because the Gold Cup, because the stars aren't playing or whatever. Who's our normal goalie? Guy's really good. Turner. Okay, so Turner, very good, great player. Freeze, though, is getting an opportunity here, and he was taking advantage of it, making the most of it. Watching him, he knew exactly where they were going. This wasn't guess, this wasn't luck. He was reading the shit out of these people. He had them dialed in, and even the ones that they scored, he was near. It just so happened to go in there. This guy was locked in. We got a dude in Matt Freese. We got a coach, I believe, in Ponch.
Yeah.
And I think we're finding the right team kind of leading into the World Cup. We got dogs.
Yes.
Our guys are dogs. They wasn't a lot. There's a lot of flopping from the Costa Rica side.
Sure,
A
per usual.
lot of flopping going on. But our guys running. Our guys got moxie. I feel good about our team representing our country going ahead.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks, I feel like, at least me personally, I've just been hating on the United States men's soccer team and kind of started watching last night strictly because, it was like a hate watch event for me. But by halftime, they won me over. Like the way they play, you mentioned the style, like they weren't really flopping. It seemed like they were talking shit to both Costa Rica and the refs sometimes when they disagreed with the call. And Poncho, every time they showed Ponch, it seemed like he was getting the boys going, saying something, hyping people up. I'm all in. I got my poncho on for good, baby. It's raining right now.
At the end of the game, actually, at the end of full time,
yeah,
straight into penalties is crazy. Ball gets hit down the sideline. Ponch in his sport coat because he's trying to steal it. One touch, boom, right to our guy to do a throw-in, blow it dead. It was like this dude's on the sideline. Ball comes over. Boom. I'm like, I love this. And the type of team he wants, he's like, we got a lot of good players, but we need fighters, is basically what he said coming in. We need to find guys. It's like we might have a squad. Now, with that being said, let's not get too excited.
That's a good point.
True. If we win this Gold Cup, though, and we are once again the CONCAFA Kings, this is going to be hard not to get a full-on patriotism, if you know what I'm saying.
If we win the Gold Cup, I think you have to just admit that we are the favorites to win the World Cup. I think it is what it is. And, we were kind of saying, hey, all of our best guys aren't playing. This is probably exactly what they needed. Like, we needed some of those, like, guys.
Confidence.
Exactly. Like, guys who we are going to need in order to win the World Cup, and they played unbelievable, or they have so far.
I heard a commentary say that some of the big names are gone, so some of these younger guys have a chance to peacock a little bit because it's their team, and they're getting the confidence at the right time. Now, we were afforded the opportunity to debut a special, exclusive trailer from Netflix.
Answer the phone, and Brad sounds like he's out of breath. And he's, Jared, oh, thank God we got you on the phone. And we're so excited to have you here. We're so excited.
When we got the opportunity to land him, it was a no-brainer because I had an idea of what we were going to start going through, and I knew how resilient he was, and just thought that he'd be a good fit for the journey we're about to take.
Dan gets on the phone and says the same thing. We can't believe we were able to get this done, and we can't wait to see you.
I remember the call, and I remember my excitement, and I wanted to make sure he understood how excited we were, how excited I was. You're going to be part of the foundation. We're going to build this from the ground up. You're going to be a huge part of this, and you're ours. Like, you belong with us. We're going to be tied to the hip.
It kind of brought me from this moment of, like, picking up the pieces to, like, reinvigorated with this energy of, like, oh, like, this is what it feels like to truly be wanted and to have, these guys behind you, and I hadn't felt that in quite some time.
I was going to dinner with my friends that night. I remember you called me and you told me the news. I remember you were like, will you come with me? And I was like, yeah, Detroit. I don't even know. I didn't even know. I've never been to Michigan. I didn't hesitate, but I also did not know what I was getting myself into, in a good way and a bad way. I can't imagine having stayed in LA that whole time.
A lot of people saw it as like I was being cast away, or I was being sent to my career to die. And I think, a lot of people in my former organization may have thought that as well. For me, I saw it as what an incredible opportunity to be somewhere that has never won and has never been to the top of the mountain, and how incredible would it be if we're able to build this thing into a winner.
I mean, that's my guy. That's my quarterback. Every head coach has got a quarterback. If you want to have success, you better have a quarterback, and I got one, Jared Goff.
To be able to be with a head coach who's a first-time head coach and a GM who's a first-time GM, and be able to be the first decision they made when they got here and prove them right, and how great of an opportunity is that. And sorry, I'm trying not to cry, but it's been so incredible to build with them. But that moment of hearing them on the phone, knowing that the opportunity that I had here was special.
Hell yeah, it was, and it has certainly turned out to be the executive producer of that show and about 1,000 others, two-time Super Bowl champion and Hall of Famer, and fresh out of the Manning Passing Academy's 29th year. Ladies and gentlemen, Peyton Manning.
Hey, guys.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, obviously we just watched that together here, and it was a beautiful kind of retelling or recapping of how Jared Goff got to Detroit, because we all remember it from the outside looking in. Sean McVay was in Mexico. Matthew Stafford was there. They were having a good time. Jared Goff got his ass kicked out of town. He was a third-string quarterback, I believe, for the Rams at the very end of that whole thing. Seeing his story, his side, and how Detroit views it is beautiful. Is there a lot of that this season on quarterback, or what should we expect from Burrow, Goff, and then Cousins again?
You know, Pat, this is our third year doing quarterback, or doing the Netflix kind of follow doc series. We did quarterback the first year, we did receiver the next. Now we're back with quarterback. And I think when all these quarterbacks sign up, look, I tell them, hey, we want the football. We want to go behind the ropes a little bit. We do not want to be a distraction. And all of them, from Mahomes to Joe to Kirk and to Jared, they all end up giving us more than we ask of them, right? I mean, look, we wanted to follow Jared Goff this season. We weren't asking him to recap that tough moment of getting traded from the Rams, but he wanted to talk about it. And he wanted to talk about how he got to Detroit and kind of what that meant to him. So we were glad to be there to hear all that, because he really hasn't told that story. And I think you'll hear a lot of that from all three of the quarterbacks, things that you haven't seen, that you haven't heard before. I think it kind of speaks to how comfortable they are with Omaha and NFL films and Netflix following them around. I think the best thing, Pat, is that nobody really knows that we're following them all year. This is not a camera in the cafeteria with Joe Burrow. Everybody's like, oh, look at Joe. He's got this, camera with him the whole time. NFL films, Omaha, Netflix, we just kind of blend in. And we just want to be kind of a fly on the wall and to take the viewer behind the ropes of what it's like to play quarterback. And you'll see Jared Goff and Ben Johnson designing these really cool plays that Detroit had that maybe Caleb Williams might have now in Chicago, but cool plays and where they get the idea. You'll see just how calm and cool Joe Burrow is all the time. I don't think he sweats the entire season. Even when he's playing against the Ravens, he's that calm and cool. And you'll see Kirk Cousins handle an incredibly tough situation with incredible grace, and you'll come out pulling for him once again like you did in season one. So that's what I'm excited about this season for quarterback.
I mean, three very different stories throughout the season. The Detroit Lions, #1 seed in the NFC, they battle through so many injuries, too. I'm excited to see the leadership behind the scenes whenever that whole situation brews. The Cincinnati Bengals had the year that they had, and obviously they had an entire offseason the way it's gone. And then Kirk Cousins with the Penix situation. I mean, what a wild chance to experience life as an NFL quarterback. You continue to blaze trails, brother. We can't wait to catch up with that. July 8th, quarterback premieres on Netflix. Thank you for getting us through the summer. We will thank you in advance for that. Let's talk about a summer tradition for the last 29 years, Manning Passing Academy. Obviously, you're fresh out of the most recent one. How was the weekend down there? A lot of people saying it looked like maybe you boozed a little bit the night before this photo.
Well, look, part of playing quarterback is having a few Bud Lights on an off night. But you're at the 8 o'clock staff meeting the next morning, right? If you're gonna soar with the Eagles, as my dad said, if you're gonna hoot with the Owls, you got to soar with the Eagles. So it's kind of a good sign for a quarterback if you're there at that 8 o'clock meeting. We had perfect attendance at every 8 o'clock.
Love that! Love that!
Hasn't always been the case in years past, certain quarterbacks, and maybe that was a good sign that maybe they weren't ready to play quarterback. But another great year. Look, we had almost 1,500 campers. I think we had 47 college quarterbacks. We had over 120 top high school coaches and former NFL coaches or small college coaches from around the country. That's our staff. We're trying to make these entering 8th graders through entering 12th graders, quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, running backs, better high school football players, Pat. That is our goal. If they all go on to play college in the NFL, that's great. But our goal is to make them better high school players. And most of the college camps now, Pat, they aren't really doing that as much anymore, right? They're kind of recruiting camps. They're running 40s. They're running vertical jumps. And I get that. They're trying to decide who they're going to recruit. We like teaching the basic fundamentals of playing quarterback. And it's fun time for me to be with my dad, my two brothers, Cooper and Eli, my nephews, Arch and Hyde were there. My brother, my son Marshall attended the camp, so it's certainly a family affair as well.
Yeah, I posted that photo. Obviously, was posted from Manning Pass Academy of your entire crew there. Not your kid, but this whole. And I was just like, this family has done so much for football, legitimately. And I texted your dad this. I said, hey, I just want to say thank you to you and your family for the amount of commitment to our sport that you have done. You have tried to showcase our sport in every single fashion that you possibly could since retirement, let alone all that you gave while you were playing. Eli the same way, Archie the same exact way, and now it's Arch season, baby. That's what the world is kind of waiting for. And so I want to say thank you to the Mannings. Legit, you guys are committed to ball, and we appreciate the hell out of that. Now, on the passing,
look, to me, when I was playing, and I think all these college guys felt the same way. Arch, Garrett Nussmeier, like I said, all the other quarterbacks. It's just a great reminder of how great the game is and how lucky we are to be playing or to be involved with it. When you're out there in Thibodaux, Louisiana, it's 96 degrees. Yeah. We're in 3-a-day practices, and you don't hear one high school kid complain about how hot it is. As a matter of fact, we tell them, hey, go back to your dorm room, get a nap in between practices. They're all outside the dorm throwing. They're always asking questions to the quarterbacks. Hey, tell me how to help with my spiral. Tell me how to help, which, by the way, I can't help with that. Yeah. Tell me how to help with my 3-step or 5-step drop. So it's just a great reminder of, what a great game it is. And so it comes at the perfect time every year, late June, right before teams are going back to training camp, going back to summer workouts, and to me, that's the best part about it.
Hey, kid, you can throw a duck pretty good too. You win a couple Super Bowls with a duck throw. Don't worry about that. D-Bud has a question about the MPA.
Yeah, Peyton. So 29 years, awesome, 1,500 campers. Over, I guess, the last 3 decades, how much have the campers changed? I guess with the questions and the things, the game has changed so much in between the lines, but even outside the lines with NIL and all these different things that they're dealing with at an early age. How much has that changed over the years?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, Tyler Shuck, who was a counselor for 2 years, he was at Louisville, Texas Tech, Oregon. He came back to the camp. Now he's the Saints' first-round draft choice, which is very rare. We don't really ask current NFL quarterbacks to come because, this is their vacation time. And Tyler came back and wanted to share his knowledge with the college counselors and with the high school athletes. And he just said, look, because he's lived in this NIL world, keep the main thing. Go out and have fun your senior year in high school, your senior year in college. Don't worry about all of the outside noise and distractions, especially if you want to go play at the next level. You got to make the main thing. So that's easier said than done because people are pulling on them. They have different commitments, different directions. But I thought that was great advice. So you still got to go out there and work in the offseason. You got to go out there and perform on Friday nights, on Saturday afternoons. So we were certainly concerned a couple years ago with NIL, with the portal. Would that affect the attendance of our camp from our high school kids, from our college players? It hasn't. People still come down and want to ask questions. John Gruden was there. He was giving the NFL, he was giving the college players some advice. He did a clinic for our high school coaches, which was awesome. You can imagine how animated he is. And so it's been able to kind of maintain the reason we started the camp, and it's hard to believe we're coming up on 30 years next year.
I saw Coach Gruden got an Archie Manning jersey, I believe. You want crazy? Can you believe this, man? Yeah, that was a cool moment. I love how much Gruden's giving back to ball as well. Let's talk about the quarterback position as a whole. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Peyton, you just kind of mentioned how part of a quarterback's duties are having a couple Bud Lights with the boys, the night before, but then still showing up at the 8 a.m. meeting and, being a leader, showing up and standing up for your teammates. Of course, those things as well are important as a QB. But for you, off the field, when it comes to being a quarterback, what are kind of the most important traits you need to have just as, of course, a player, but just a teammate in general?
Yeah, look, to me, when I watch an NFL or college game and I see a quarterback drop back and throw a deep go route down the sideline, and maybe the corner is there and the free safety is over there, I watch how the receiver fights for the ball. Does he go up and make the catch amongst two defenders? Does he tackle the defensive back? Because there's no way I'm going to let my quarterback get this pass intercepted. It's going to be incomplete pass interference. No way it's going to be an interception. And that tells me how much that receiver respects his quarterback, that he's going to fight for him, right? Sometimes you don't see that. Sometimes you see the receiver kind of go, hey, I don't really care if it's intercepted and it's double covered. He shouldn't be throwing it anyway. I want to see him fighting for the quarterback, and that's up to the quarterback to get those guys fighting for him. By the way, he handles them in practice, how he handles, himself in the locker room. Is he a guy that these linemen want to fight and block for? These receivers want to go up and get the ball for? So it's not always with the rah-rah pep talk per se. You don't have to give a speech every day as a quarterback, but you better be there on time. You better stay late. You better be tough. You better be, in the conditioning front of the line, right? You're not going to be the fastest or bench press the most, but you better be kind of setting the example in the conditioning, endurance aspect of it. And I think all those things go into being a good quarterback and your teammates following you.
I told the story the other day about first punt period when I was with the Colts. It's normal, special teams, especially punt period, everybody kind of clears the field because, balls are about to get tossed out there. And while I'm sitting back for the first snap, I'm with the Indianapolis Colts. Holy shit, I'm in the NFL. I'm playing a position I don't really understand. I've never really been an NFL punter. I'm watching you and the other quarterbacks run gassers across the field on the other end. Full pads, helmet on, everything like that. And that was a consistent. It's like everybody else kind of off the field. You're out there doing sprints. Now, Clyde Christensen told me, well, it's the only time we can get the field, right? Like, that's the only time. And it's like, but also, that is quite a statement. Like, hey, listen, you can get shit done right now. I think everything you did had purpose and meaning, and that's why it was an honor to be your teammate. With that being said, I know you've tried to stay out of the way. So has Eli. I'm here to answer all questions. Let's talk about Arch, okay? I'm excited for him. No offense to you, okay? No offense to you or to Eli. Feels like he has a chance to have what you have what Eli has, and then also feels like he's got what your dad had a little bit more of. All these things coming together, plus him understanding what a quarterback should be like in the locker room. I think he was at Wingo's cookout just like 2 weeks ago. Obviously, this hit the internet, went crazy. It's like, this makes sense for how a quarterback, especially a Manning-led quarterback, would operate. You invited me down to a golf outing and had some beers and learned about me and my family and talked to my dad, invited my dad to something. It's like very much a part of the Manning way of leading is like being a good teammate, being I want to say investing in the relationship. How do you feel about Arch now that it's about to be his time? Like, hey, we're here now. This is Arch season for Texas. How do you feel? And has he reached out to you or Eli much through it all?
Yeah, Pat, look, Eli and I are his uncles. We try to be there as a resource for him. But, Cooper has done a great job with Arch, and they've handled, all the different things that have kind of come their way in the right way. And I'm excited to watch Arch play. He's been very patient. I thought he threw the ball really well at the camp. He and Garrett Nussmeier in kind of our three throwing exhibitions really threw the ball well. All the quarterbacks threw it well. It's impressive. I mean, they make throws that I wouldn't even think about making. I mean, Arch made a throw the other day that I'd have to hit the cutoff man in order to get the ball to the actual receiver. And Nussmeier, Lenoris for South Carolina. I mean, it's impressive all the way around. But look, he's been patient. It's been well documented. The fact that he's, been there 2 years. I'm such a believer in mastering the system that you're in. And when you have new coordinators every single year in the NFL or college, that's just frustrating to me. I was lucky, Tom Moore, Pat was there my entire 14-year career. Belichick gave Brady some different coordinators, Charlie Weiss, McDaniels, O'Brien, but it was the same system, right? Nick Saban makes his quarterbacks, our new coordinators, learn his system. So does Kirby. And so the fact that Sarkisian calls the plays and Arch has been there 2 years already, is going to know the system. That's going to be a huge advantage for him. And I'm looking forward to seeing him get out there on the field. He's worked real hard. I love seeing him go into that camp for his teammate. That's being a good teammate. That's being a good wingman. And I'm excited to get down there and watch a few games this year in Austin.
I love the moxie he's got, too. The breaking of chains after running somebody. And I think he got concussed. I mean, you don't have to give us anything. I think he got concussed in the
Ohio State.
The moxie, I mean, that was his dad. I mean, Cooper was a cocky wide receiver that was open every time in the huddle, as you can imagine. I mean, I think my sophomore year in high school, Cooper was a senior. I think I completed 120 passes that year. I threw 90 of them to my brother, okay? And And he would have liked all 120. I mean, he did not care about his teammates or his friends. I think that little swagger comes from his dad, and that's good to see. Look, Archie's got to be his own person, and he can move. Yeah, my dad's sort of speed, sort of skipped a generation, skipped me and Eli, and I think Arch has that, which helps him. But I still think, look, all quarterbacks. I mean, we got to be able to throw from the pocket first and throw it on time and not take a lot of hits. That's what we talked about to all of them. Hey, know your system, know your answers. But then when it's time to make a play, go out there and make a play with your legs. But so I think he understands that.
Yeah, I love everything about him. I do. The way he's handled this, the way everybody has handled the entire process. I was excited for him to get in the game last year.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, now we're in Arch. I was pushing hard. A little bit too big of a platform at this stage for me to be doing that. Caused some shit. Had to back off. I don't want to start any problems with anybody. But watching Arch, I think I met Arch when he was just a little boy over at Eli's apartment back in the day. And he was like, always had moxie. And now we're watching him do his thing. I'm like, we want that guy. And there's a lot of teams saying, hey, let's not be scared to lose a lot of games this year. Maybe next year we can get Arch on our team. Now, there's a quarterback situation brewing here in Indianapolis. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Peyton, I don't know if you've ever actually been in a quarterback competition in your entire life, so maybe you don't, have as good of an answer for this. But when you look at what's going on with the Colts, Anthony Richardson, obviously they draft him high. They want him to be the guy of the future. And it's kind of, there's been glimpses, but he's getting hurt a lot. And then Danny Dimes comes in this offseason and, with a chance to kind of reclaim his career, I guess. When you have an actual quarterback competition like that and a guy like Anthony Richardson's hurt and he can't really take the reps, but he needs a lot of the reps, what is a way that you can actually get ahead? Because I think you were a guy who never wanted to, secede any reps to anyone else. So in that situation, how would both of those guys get ahead? Because at this point, we still really have no idea who's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, look, I know all those quarterbacks, speaking of the Manning Pass Academy, Anthony came, Daniel came, Rodney Leonard came. So you get to know all of them. You pull for all of them. And, look, I think competition can be good. I know that's what Shane and Chris are looking for this competition to push both those guys. And hopefully whoever comes out as the starter is opening the season with a little swagger and a little bit of edge because he just won a tough quarterback competition. Certainly with Anthony being injured, that's tough, right? That's frustrating. I know he wants to be out there today, throwing with his receivers and a little bit of a test of patience there. And obviously by him being injured, that gives Daniel more repetitions. I mean, the toughest thing when you're in a quarterback competition, it's tough for the receivers as well, is who do you really get good timing with if you're only throwing 50% of the routes with each guy, right? I know receivers would prefer to have one guy as the starter and get the reps with that guy. So, we'll see how it shakes out through training camp. I think it's a healthy situation for the Colts. And I think whoever comes out of that is going to be ready to go week one against the Dolphins, where we're honoring Jim Irsay going into the Ring of Honor. I'll be at that game, Pat. So I'm pulling for both guys. I want to see Anthony get back there and get healthy. As you know, long season. Sometimes it takes more than one quarterback to play the entire season. But I'm excited for Daniel getting this opportunity. He deserves it. And like I said, I hope Anthony gets back out there healthy and has a shot as well.
I ran into Dimes downtown. He's huge. Did not know that he was as large of a human as he is. And obviously he's very mobile. And Anthony Richardson, you talk about cutoff man. I mean, he made like 3 of those throws last year where he just back foot, 70 yards. Obviously the talent is there. Hopefully it's able to come together. All right, last question. We appreciate you so much for your time here from Pittsburgh Steelers fan who's flying high right now, AP Tone.
Yeah, I am flying very high with getting Jalen Ramsey today, which is just huge news. Feels like the Steelers are going all in. But my question for you, Peyton, is after the Steelers got Aaron Rodgers, I immediately thought you going to the Denver Broncos, winning the Super Bowl there, Tom Brady going to the Bucs, winning a Super Bowl there. How do you feel about Aaron going to the Steelers, and what exactly does a 20-year NFL vet quarterback who's won 4 NFL MVPs bring to a young offense?
Yeah, look, I'm excited for Aaron. It's a good opportunity. I saw Arthur Smith earlier this spring, and they were still trying to kind of figure out what they were trying to do. But he certainly acknowledged that Aaron was a possibility, and he was excited about that possibility. So I think when your offensive coordinator is excited about it. That's a good thing. You've heard Aaron talk about, that he and Arthur, you can tell they've already had quite a bit of dialogue on, trying to get on the same page and make that system work for both of them. But look, there's no substitute for experience and what Aaron can do to help these receivers. And you wouldn't think that would take a lot of time, for them to kind of get on the same page, just because Aaron's played with so many guys and kind of knows how to make those adjustments. I think the whole team needs to do their part as well, right? Defense needs to be the Pittsburgh Steelers and put Aaron in some tough situations, and probably not expecting him to go out there and score 40 each week. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. Look, it's a big change. I know Aaron did it with the Jets, and maybe got hurt and whatnot, and it wasn't maybe what he was hoping for. So hopefully this is a good chapter for him and can finish strong if it is his last year. And I know Tom just talked about going down to Tampa, and that was exciting. It was kind of new, right, going to a new school, and I felt that way when I went to Denver. So it can be kind of invigorating for a quarterback. So hopefully Aaron kind of takes that energy and goes out there and plays really well this year.
We're going to a new school. All right. Let's pick up. Let's go to a new school over there, a little old school in Pittsburgh for the Steelers. Jalen Ramsey got signed or traded this morning, so that literally just happened. So feels like $30 million on DK Metcalf. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to pay TJ Watt and figure that whole thing out. It's like, is this the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers? We shall see. It's been an honor to interview you and Elvis Presley, brother. And I don't know if it made the cut or not, but I've seen the clip of you being Elvis Presley at Saturday Night Live. You're a huge King fan, right? I mean, you're a fan of the King.
I love him. He was a football fan, Pat. He loved it. I mean, he was a Browns fan. He was a Steelers fan. He used to request like NFL highlights sent down there to Graceland. He always had kind of his entourage. They were playing pickup football games. And so that's what I've kind of learned about Elvis. Not only do I love his music, he loved football as well. So would have loved to have met him. And, I have lots of Elvis memorabilia here in my house.
He's a dog. Elvis was an absolute dog. Yeah. Have people seen the clip? Was that a public one? I don't remember.
Remember, it didn't make the cut, and it was a dress rehearsal you do before Saturday Night Live, which is awesome. You get to go out there and kind of test jokes and see what's going to be funny. I wish I could have done a dress rehearsal before a few football games, Pat. Like, I'm not going to make that throw. That's not going to work out. I'll fix that in the real thing. So I did an Elvis skit in the dress rehearsal. Did not make the final cut. I don't think I pulled off "Love Me Tender" as well as Lorne Michaels wanted me to.
I think you did. I've seen the clip. That one, that's first ballot. This one is a first ballot. Hopefully one day Omaha will let that thing eat. Congrats on all the success. Have a great summer, brother.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, fellas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peyton Manning. We appreciate Peyton joining us earlier today. The news of the Jalen Ramsey trade happened during our conversation with Peyton Manning. We did not even know about the Minkah Fitzpatrick news or the Jonnu Smith at that particular time because the way the trade was rolled out this morning was wild. Heads up, Jalen Ramsey's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's because Jalen Ramsey breaks his own news. Put out a highlight video that was awesome. Talking about how tough Pittsburgh is, basically, and how traditional and how historic the franchise is and how he's joining the team. That's how he broke the news. So everybody's like, holy hell, Jalen Ramsey's going to the Steelers. And then the insiders got their chance to get there. Boom, ba-da-bang, ba-da-boom, ba-da-bang. Then we hear Minkah Fitzpatrick's on. Jonnu Smith's going. 2 late-round picks. Who's paying for all this? Who's doing what? Wow, the Steelers are all in. That was this morning while we were talking to Peyton Manning. It's been a great day to be an NFL fan. Is it a great day to be a Dolphins fan? I think Dolphins fans are saying, yeah.
Sure. We got Minkah back.
It's warm.
It is. Great uniforms.
Yeah.
Cool coach.
Really good offense. Tyreek Hill still there. Do they have enough players? We shall see. Hour 2 on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice.
That's crazy. Nice you got people to do that. And also take us off the fucking team. We do not deserve it.
They all commit and love what's going on in that weight room. They all commit and love what Jim Harbaugh's preaching. And everybody in the building's happy. Everybody's like excited to be there.
Not first row. Not pressure in the first row. Second row is on here.
It is infectious, everything they got going on. And how many owners are spending $300 million on a new facility just for a practice facility?
This is Butler Birdies. Wow!
Oh my God! Oh shit! In the bunker.
Great shot.
But then for them to do it upright for the last couple, it's like, look out for the Chargers, dude. Look out for the Chargers.
Coach. Hey, we got a gift for you.
Here we go.
Okay, so we missed your birthday, we missed Christmas. We couldn't
Whoa, look at that.
Your perspective on high five is one of the greatest things we've ever seen.
The all-time greatest day.
I love the high five. Yeah, give each other a high five.
Boom!
Bam!
Boom!
Bam!
Boom! Boom!
Oh my God!
Wow! Boom!
So we wanted to make you basically something that you could high five. My dad made this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
He is talented.
Yeah, boom.
Keep that feeling.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, boom, boom. And we tested it. I think you can get a pretty good pop if you need. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Obviously, national champion, Michigan man, greatest high five.
Yeah.
Because of what you brought for the high five world.
Oh, yeah.
He tried to give a handshake to that particular high five trophy. Did break the hand off. We had to put it back on.
Way to go, handshake.
Oh no! Oh no!
There we go.
We have so much respect for you.
You guys just roll deep. This would be entourage level, wouldn't it?
To be honest, we didn't know we were going to be able to get 11 people in here, and then we would pull up and say we have 11. Right? That's where it should roll 11. Yeah, always start 11. You're right. I mean, wow, it looks like a lot of highlights against one particular team.
They played more than one game. Why did they have all these TVs for one game?
Imposing our will.
This sucks.
Party in the backfield.
No one. We mean no one.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
What?
let's go.
This show stinks. And the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this massive Overreaction Monday, June 30th, 2025. Hour 2 of the program begins now. Sports are happening in a big way. Obviously, massive breaking news from basically every major sport. The MLB has Cal Raleigh, big dumper, competing in its home run derby. Congratulations to them. And big thanks to Big Dump joining us in about 28 minutes or so to chit-chat about a historic catching season he is having for the current number 2 team in the AL West, the Seattle Mariners.
Well done.
I'm doing the baseball.
I know. Well done.
I am doing the baseball. I like what the baseball is doing. I like the superstars that are coming to fruition. I like the names that we have playing very well. Aaron Judge is doing stuff that's outrageous. Shohei Ohtani threw his fastest pitch, 102 miles an hour the other night. 102, 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler.
So we're rounding up, like we were talking about.
You always do.
Hold on.
Okay, if it's higher than 0.5, you round up.
Okay, so
Jet Passon did a little, well, let's,
Well, actually,
he said it's 101.7 miles an hour, and then he actually put out the number of pitches that have been thrown this year. 163 pitchers have been thrown harder than 101.7, which is the exact velocity. Okay, on the stadium, they don't go to points.
No.
They just round it up over 5. It's going up. Under 5, it's going down. That is the hardest pitch of his MLB career. Ohtani did hit 102 miles an hour. World Baseball Classic. Funny enough, against Vinny Pasquantino as well. And obviously they had another moment there. So maybe Shohei Ohtani is going to do full-time pitching as well, even though all the baseball people, let's go to the talk show table at Bossy Connor, at Ty Schmidt, 102 miles an hour, 101.7 miles an hour.
No, you can say 102. Let's not do that.
Okay, is he doing well? And I think it was another no-hitter, I believe.
Yeah, he threw 2 innings this time. I mean, it's just risk reward because obviously, like, he's got unbelievable stuff, so he could do it. It's just the risk of injury is definitely there. But if he's going out and pumping 102 early and often and not giving up any hits, like the Dodgers need starting pitching right now very, very badly.
I don't love that Shohei hates Italians. I'm just going to say that.
Whoa.
His 2 fastest pitches are against Vinny.
Like, jacks him up, gets him jacked up. He sees him, he gets all
like to call discrimination.
Pasquantino actually did quote tweet that. He was like, "What the fuck? What is this guy doing?"
Okay, so maybe there is a chance that his respect level for Paisanos is at a level where he feels like he has to throw harder.
Yeah.
Or, maybe he just happened to catch it a couple of times. 163 pitches. That's not a lot of pitches in the grand scheme of a baseball season, right?
No. But I mean, I'd be interested to see how many of those 163 pitches, how many guys that came from, because that would really tell us, how many guys are really throwing that hard. Because if it's only a handful of guys, then Shohei is clearly in rarefied air.
And, start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I wanna be a part of it. New York Mets. Okay, what's going on? The Pirates just smacking them around. That's what we've been saying about this Pirates team. We've been saying since they got their new super duper manager guy.
Don Kelly, salty ball.
Boom. They've been playing a little gritty baseball out there.
Salty ball, brother.
They just annihilated a team that's paying a guy $750 million. We have never, in the history of the Pirates, paid an entire team $750 million. And the fact that we are doing this, are the Pirates hot? Don't look now.
Whoa.
Are the Hundo boys about to make a run in the playoffs? Are the Pittsburgh Pirates about to be bucking all around playoffs up there?
I mean, I think you would have to argue that they're incredibly hot.
Better than the Mets, by far.
Exactly. The Mets are a good baseball team. They've been in quite the schneid as of late. But hey, listen, you beat anyone in the MLB 30-4 over a 3-game series. Yeah, I'd say you are playing some salty ball.
And maybe if the Buccos win this entire thing.
Yeah, the whole damn thing.
The whole damn thing.
Wow.
What do they call them? Pennants.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing? Or
No, that would be winning the NL.
Which would be sweet.
Yeah, start there.
We'd like to get that pennant.
We'll start with winning the wild card game.
Okay, boom.
We're only 12 games back.
What do you get for winning a wild card game? You get a pennant?
No. You just get into the next round of the day.
In Pittsburgh, they will talk about that game for the next 10 years because that's what happened last time.
You're damn right. We're still talking about it. Paul Skeens actually mentioned it going into the season. He believes in the boys in the change room, the clubhouse. In the clubhouse. Obviously, all these words really good, and they carry over to other sports, so that's why it's so easy to kind of do it all. The thing that would be the best if they were to win the super pennants and the wild cards and the whole damn thing, Cheryl might take Tim back.
Yeah,
see that?
There's a chance.
There might be a way for Tim to get Cheryl back. Who on the Bucko board out there say, listen, Cheryl, I know you're at this game. Okay? Please. I didn't mean to kiss your sister like that.
Screwed up.
Sign Tim. Cheryl knew exactly what he was talking about. That was for an audience of one right there.
Yep.
Maybe two, because Jesus Christ could be looking down and appreciating Tim's apology in a very public place. But I think Cheryl might be gone for good, Tim.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance Tim needs to maybe turn his attention to Cheryl's sister and or other fish in the sea and be a better person. I think that is something for Tim to think about.
I would say go outside the family, leave the sister alone. He made a mistake, everybody.
Yeah, but if you're in the family, at least you understand how they kind of operate.
Sure. I don't know how y'all get that.
And they clearly got a little chemistry out there.
Yeah, you got it. I don't think it's no coming back for Cheryl. She's out of there. And understandably so. I mean, it's a lot of fish in the sea. Sister, was it dark? Did he think?
No,
are they twins? I need more context.
If I know Tim.
And we do.
I think we've met Tim a few times. Tim had 10, 12 beers.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe a couple shots.
Looking
Had
to
a
sleep.
long week, okay? Enjoying the shit out of the night that was happening.
Yep.
Walks in, well, how we do? You were pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
And then he just happens to fall face first into who he thought was maybe Cheryl.
Yeah.
Smoocher.
Get some of that sugar.
I was thinking he probably had like 10, 12, like you said, 10, 12 icy lights after a long work week. He was down at the Donnie Iris concert, Downstation Scare.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl went to the bathroom. Donnie played one of his romance songs.
Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And he
It
said, it
happened.
gotta happen. Sucked face.
Yep.
A for effort. He's trying
There's
to
a
get it
chance Tim and Cheryl's sister and Cheryl will say, we're at a Buckeyes game.
Sure.
Pittsburgh Pirates. And they got a big time win. It was during one of these runs.
Yeah.
Zambelli fireworks go off. Cheryl has to go puke. Maybe Tim says, look how beautiful these fireworks are. Should kiss.
Kiss cam?
They suck face.
Could've
Maybe
been.
on the kiss cam.
Could've been.
Yeah, maybe on the kiss cam. That's what Pittsburgh love's all about for Tim and Cheryl.
Yeah.
And I think if the Buccos were to win the super pennant, Cheryl will get back there. The fact that that's real, also, magnificent.
Awesome.
Oh, you think it's like an Angels in the outfield situation where he said, tell you what, Angels win the pennant, I'll come back and be your dad. Cheryl says, Pirate Buccos win the pennant, I'll come back and be your...
Yeah, the only way it's going to happen, Tim, is if the fucking Pirates win the World Series. And then this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
For Tim, the boys in the clubhouse. Good luck. Joining us now from a different sport. I don't know if he has any inside information on Tim or Cheryl. We will certainly try to get it from him. Senior NBA insider for ESPN, the handsome Shams Charania. Ladies and gentlemen, that's AJ Hawk.
AJ.
Hawk, do we have...
Yeah, do we have Shams with Cheryl?
That's
There might have been
Shams
26 or
Charania.
two.
Oh man, I'm like, damn, I look totally different today. Jesus, I look different
Similar though. You know, similar. The whole.
No, AJ's got the clean face. He's always clean. He always looks the same. You know, the consistency is important.
Well, I think you are the exact same human. Have been since we met.
Yeah.
Literally same exact look. Even had that same background. Remember the spaceship background?
Yep.
Now he's just big time on ESPN. Anyways, AJ, great to see you, brother. Shams, thank you for joining us. I heard via your shit, both an article and a tweet, that LeBron James has opted in to his player decision contract for $52 million. Congrats to him. That's a lot of money. Way to go. And then we also, I believe, continue to read on to this entire thing, that they're evaluating the Lakers, and they understand that there's not a few years left. Here's the exact quote. LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss, who now has sold the team, and Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that and are supportive and want what's best for him. Okay, so there's a lot that's said there, but basically, after reading it, I found myself thinking, oh, he's doing the same thing as like what Giannis is doing. Is that an accurate depiction of what's going on with these two superstars? And how real is any of the conversation about Lakers and LeBron splitting potentially?
Similar situation in terms of like both players are evaluating, seeing what moves are made. Both players want to compete for a championship, want to win a championship. But I think dissimilar in this way. LeBron James is 40 years old. He's going to be 41 years old in December. He knows whether it's one season left, 2 seasons left, his time in the NBA is nearing its end. And obviously, as Rich Paul made clear in his comments to me yesterday, they are prioritizing trying to compete in a quote-unquote realistic way to win a championship. And behind the curtains of all that, what you can see is LeBron James, where he's at in his career, he's got 1, maybe 2 years left in his career. He wants to end his career on his terms to an extent. He wants to finish, and end.
Oh, he froze up. Don't talk about him.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Clutch trucks pulled up.
Sorry. Yeah, we lost you there a little bit. You were about to say he wants to.
He wants to end. Clearly, he wants to end his career on his terms, his way, as far as competing for a championship, trying to realistically have a chance to win a championship. And I think in those comments that we saw from Rich Paul, an understanding that the Lakers are moving younger, they're moving toward the future, and prioritizing Luka Doncic really as they should. And from what I gather, LeBron James understands where the Lakers are at in their position. As far as Luka Doncic is the face of this franchise for the next 5 to 10 years, that's who's going to be the face. And so he understands that they're prioritizing that. I don't think he's really asking for them to like change their ways or like bring him back into the fold as the face of the franchise or give him an extension. He's, I think a lot of people can see there what's going on. And so he wants to finish at the highest level in his career, play at the highest level. And whether that's in LA, whether that's going elsewhere, I mean, clearly that depending on how the Lakers free agency period goes, what they're able to do in free agency, obviously they want a center. They're dealing with Dorian Finney-Smith. He opted out of his player option at $15.4 million. If they lose him, what wing do they get to replace him? So what moves do the Lakers make in the offseason where LeBron James looks at it and is like, you know what? My best chance to win a championship is right here. And I think those are hard conversations that they're going to have next week, the week after that, and at some point in July for real.
Okay, those quotes came from Rich Paul, who's obviously agent, entrepreneur, maybe the greatest hustler in the history of the United States of America. I saw some clips of him talking to Matt Ishbia, chit-chatting about what could happen in the draft, him making some calls that ended with Kaman Maluak ending up with the Phoenix Suns. So, I mean, Rich Paul, obviously legend, and whenever he says something, there's obviously a reason behind it, and a meaning, we would assume, especially if you're reporting it at this exact time. And Giannis doing the same thing. I think this is kind of a normal thing in the NBA? Did we expect this from LeBron, this type of... And is Luka not... how's Luka feel about all this stuff?
Luka Doncic was made aware, him and his circle were made aware before this came out, but what I would say is it is unusual to an extent because, I mean, players have options all the time. I mean, you're either going to opt in and you're working toward a trade, or you're set in your situation, or you're opting out and you're a legitimate free agent. In this situation, LeBron James had $52.6 million player option. Of course, he's going to opt into that. When you look at the marketplace, there's only a couple teams with true max salary space, and that's Brooklyn. Charlotte's got some money. Detroit's got some money. But there's not, are those teams really LeBron James teams? Probably not. And so LeBron James had really one choice, and that was to opt in. And from there, evaluate what the best fit is. And listen, we know he's going to play 23 NBA seasons. That much we know. We don't know if he's going to play more than one more season. That's still something I'm sure he, his family, they've all got to decide. But the one thing we do know now is that he's evaluating how he wants to finish his career, where he wants to finish his career. Is it going to be in LA? And again, the Lakers have this upcoming week, the next 2 weeks. There's free agency, there's trades. This is a very busy moment. And Rob Pelinka, the president of basketball operations, he just got Luka Doncic in February. That's a trade, obviously, that's going to go down in the history books. So clearly, he's not immune to wheeling and dealing. This is what he does. But again, these next 2 weeks, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the thought of who's... I mean, D-Bud's got a follow-up there.
Yeah.
You talked about the money thing. Would that be if he was to opt out, then he becomes a free agent, then those people would have to pay?
Well, that's the thing. If you opt out of $52.6 million and there's only 3 teams with that type of salary cap space, right? You're probably not going to go to those 3 teams. After that, you're just looking at mid-level exception type deals, and that's around $15 million a year. So, the people that are like, oh, if you wanted to just leave, I mean, to opt out and then sign for $15 million, I mean, sacrificing $40 million. I mean,
yeah, that'd be an interesting business move from somebody that's a very business person. D-Buck, go ahead.
Any business savvy person doing that, but who knows?
You mentioned Brooklyn and Detroit there. Are those the only, I guess, realistic options for even if you could move players? I saw people saying Cleveland, but they would have to do too much being in the second apron. So are those the only 2 realistic landing spots potentially for LeBron?
I mean, we don't know how it's going to play out, but in the event or in a scenario where it does lead to him on, in free agency, I mean, at that point, it could be really anything. It could be a minimum. It could be a exception. I think that becomes secondary, right? Like at that point, if there is a resolution, it's about just figuring out what spot.
Yeah, he already tweeted about wanting to be a Pacer. So I don't know what we're talking about. He already said, I want to play with Tyrese Halliburton. He said anybody would, and he was obviously a part of anybody.
Damn,
so
Mrs. Miami.
I don't know, because chocolate chip cookies have actually been wait till he tries the chocolate chip cookies out here in Indiana. I mean, if LeBron James is moving, obviously that would be a huge ordeal, and we would all be pumped up that are in sports media forced to talk about sports every single day. We would be very thankful for that type of thing.
But the one thing, though, that makes this interesting is this is really, Pat, like a partnership, right? Like the Lakers, LeBron James, they've been together for 7-8 seasons now. And he won a championship there. He won 2 conference finals there. Before he got there, they weren't a playoff team. He gets there. Obviously, they get Anthony Davis. They become a perennial contender year after year. So that partnership, that relationship, that's why these conversations, that's why you have open, direct dialogue between both sides. Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, Rich Paul from an agent level, from a representative level, LeBron James himself. Just at the draft, like the Lakers just drafted Adu Thoreau, a big man in the second round. They moved up to go draft him. That's a Clutch Sports client. So just because of whatever is going down here or what the statements are that we're seeing, and LeBron James clearly wants to finish his career on his own terms and wants to make the best decision for himself, just like the Lakers are making the best decisions for themselves. Those both can be true while the two sides can conduct business together.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see how it all works out. That would be huge. If Giannis moves, is there any update on Giannis?
Well, Giannis is going to continue to observe.
Don't feel obligated. If there's no update, you say there's no update.
There's no update. It's exactly where it's been the last couple of weeks.
All right, good. Yeah, that's an okay thing. So Giannis is exactly where it's at. It's going to continue to monitor the moves that are made. And now LeBron is in the monitoring camp as well.
Sure.
And then if that whole thing was to go, the most craziest offseason of all time would certainly take place. Now, you talked about the Lakers, or we just talked about LeBron watching the Lakers. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Shams, you mentioned the Lakers needing a center, and then we just saw, I think it was last night, that DeAndre Ayton and the Blazers have, agreed to a buyout, so he's going to become a free agent. Is this someone that the Lakers will be targeting big time? And if not him, I would imagine that the Lakers need to do something pretty soon here, right? If you're thinking that, hey, LeBron might be out of town if we don't start doing something here soon.
Guys, this surprised everyone in the NBA. When DeAndre Ayton got bought out, he had about $35 million left on his deal, and so he gets a buyout. This is a former number 1 overall pick. He's saw a stat: 7 straight years of 10 points, 10 rebounds a game. He's one of 4 players to do that for 7 of the last seasons. He's a guy that was a top 3 player on the Suns finals team in 2021. So the guy can play, and from my understanding is his reps, they went to the Blazers, talked about how he wants to be in a winning situation, the fact that the Blazers have 4 or 5 centers on their roster, young players. They're clearly transitioning more toward their young centers, and they just decided, listen, a buyout is probably the best route for both sides, give both sides a fresh opportunity. So now he's in the marketplace. That throws a massive wrinkle into not only the Lakers at center, but other teams at center. So DeAndre Ayton immediately moves to the forefront, but then you have Brook Lopez, you have Clint Capella, Al Horford. So those 4 center free agents, suddenly you're looking at a center crop that's going to be very, very active. This is a pretty big time center class we're seeing right now. So I would expect the Lakers to look into all those players once free agency starts tonight. DeAndre Ayton doesn't clear waivers until Wednesday, so that'll take a little bit more time. But the Lakers will be shoring up meetings, from my understanding, with other available free agent centers tonight and into the next couple days.
Okay, so there's a lot of moves potentially about to take place and about to happen. Big names potentially rolling out of town in a lot of different towns. The apron talk has really become, I think, a driver or a motivator for teams to make more moves, especially to big contracts. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Shams, you called the Celtics kind of having to change their lineup because of the looming contract situation. And it feels like now the Mavericks are kind of entering into that realm, if you will, between Clay and Kyrie and AD and now Cooper Flagg, of course, and a couple other guys on that team that are kind of warranting more money. Gafford, they gave $60 million. Could you make the argument that this year is kind of the only year we'll see the Mavericks with this kind of lineup? Do you think they're kind of already looking forward and seeing what they're going to have to inevitably do because of how terribly set up the CBA is with this second apron bullshit? Or do you see how maybe it changes and the Mavericks are able to retain everybody, because it feels like the worst possible thing you can do is have a bunch of good players on your team now?
So, BC, the Mavericks, from my valuation and how I've evaluated their structure right now, they're out of the second apron. they are essentially a tax-paying first apron type team, and there aren't any contracts really that they're bringing in right now or that they're signing. The fact that Kyrie Irving took 3 years, 119, that has now allowed them to use their $5.4 million taxpayer mid-level exception. They're going to look at starting caliber point guards, D'Angelo Russell, Chris Paul, Malcolm Brogdon. Those are conversations that are going to go on tonight to go get those players. So they've actually been able to keep their salary numbers low. Now, again, until Cooper Flagg hits in a few years when he's going to be a potential max contract, then we're having a different conversation. But this year and really the next two, they're well positioned to stay out of the second apron. And that means if they want to keep their group together, they can. Now, obviously, they could make changes as well, but they have actually, the way they've lined it up this year and the next two, they're looking like they're going to be out of that vaunted second apron.
There is a lot of shit to talk about in the NBA, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Listen to second apron. You
There
heard
were a lot of deals. There were a lot of deals yesterday popping off, Pat, and we're not even going yet.
Yeah,
it's up to something season.
Yeah, there was a
We're
lot of
free
player
agency's
options.
5 hours away, baby.
I mean, yesterday I just saw massive numbers with players decided to, I guess I'll take $45 million.
Yeah.
Player decided to, that sounds good, to $32 million a year. There was a bunch of those yesterday that were kind of popping off. Sunday, that was where the LeBron James opt-in, and then the conversation around that really all began. And then free agency tonight, we should expect a lot more, is what you're saying, it sounds like.
There's going to be some big deals tonight, Pat. That
was good. Oh, you're eager for this evening.
Big ones?
Yeah, how big we talking? You talking most craziest big?
Yeah.
Better be.
No, not yet.
Because people were very underwhelmed with the Nas Reed contract. They thought that was highway robbery. That was not most craziest offseason type material.
I don't know. I saw a Minnesota Timberwolves sign Nas Reed to a 5-year, $125 million contract to stay with the franchise, including a player option. Congratulations, Nas.
Hell yeah, Nas.
Yeah. Congratulations.
He was kind of the guy.
That's a big deal. Then Julius Randle gets 3 years, $100 million. So that is actually really big for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You bring back Julius Randle, you bring back Nas Reed. Those are two big free agents. They want to keep that core together around Anthony Edwards. Rudy Gobert's back, obviously. Jaden McDaniels. But the one guy, though, that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to lose, though, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's cousin. He played some great defense all throughout the playoffs. Was a big factor on both ends of the floor. 3-point shooting. But my feel right now is that he will be departing the Timberwolves. He'll go somewhere else on a pretty big contract as well.
Well, good luck to him. I hope everybody gets all the money that they've earned through hard work and what the current CBA is with the NBA, where a lot of people get a lot of money. Mm-hmm. One guy who's supposed to get a lot of money is no longer in the middle of getting a lot of money, it seems like. AP Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Shams, all those contracts are good news. You shared some bad news yesterday about Malik Beasley. He's being investigated by the USDA's office for potential gambling, in-game stuff like that. This has happened in the NBA a couple times the last few years, but he is definitely the biggest name, the best player that it's happened with. What do we know as of recently with Malik Beasley?
As of right now, it's an active investigation, and it centers around allegations around the 2023-24 NBA season. So it wasn't this past season, but the 2023-24 season, and it's around gambling on NBA games, prop bets, things of that sort. We don't know how vast and how big this could get. I will say, though, it is important to say, his attorney, Steve Haney, gave me a quote. He said, an investigation is not a charge. Malik is afforded the same right and the presumption of innocence as anyone else under the U.S. Constitution. He has not been charged with anything as of right now. But the facts also are this. The Pistons and Malik Beasley, from my understanding, they were set to reach an agreement on a 3-year, $42 million deal to bring him back to the Pistons. He had an unbelievable year for the Pistons last year. He was an unbelievable leader for the Pistons. He fit so well around Cade Cunningham in that backcourt. He had the second most made threes of any player in the NBA, behind Anthony Edwards. And so that deal was pretty much on track. That deal is no longer, as of right now, it is on complete pause. I mean, his entire really free agent market right now is frozen because of this investigation. And so for this to happen on the eve of free agency to one of the top free agents, one of the best shooters in the NBA, there's a ton of uncertainty around this situation. Again, he has not been charged yet. This is a very active federal investigation.
Okay, so thank you for that information. And hopefully, if he's found innocent, inevitably, or not pressed with any charges, hopefully this deal will still be available for him, or he'll be able to get it somewhere else. Obviously, we will be we'll have journalistic ethics, and we will cover it if he is found to not be guilty of this, because getting covered of this basically makes everybody's natural opinion to go, well, there's a reason that a DA's office is doing this. That is just people's natural reaction. So if he is innocent and there's no charges pressed against him, I hope all this money and I hope the conversation is brought up that he didn't do anything wrong. Now, if he did, we just saw Jonte Porter, 2 years ago, I believe, because of an investigation, get a lifetime ban on prop betting, I believe. And then Terry Rozier, I believe, had an investigation, but then that thing disappeared. So hopefully he has been cleared. And if that is the case, hopefully we know that and we can tell the world about it. It's happened in football.
Terry Rozier, as of right now, it has been cleared. I mean, he finished the season with Miami. There's really nothing really active as of right now with him.
That's good.
That's good news.
The NBA spokesman Mike Bass did give a statement to me yesterday. He said that the league is cooperating with the federal prosecutors. So the league essentially, I mean, this is a federal matter now. Like this is in the hands of the courts now.
So would that mean it's a big enough amount of money that it's federal, that it would be some sort of scheming, some conning, why would it be, is this the same as Jonte Porter's as well?
I mean, to my knowledge, it's the same kind of district area in New York. I again don't know how big this one is in comparison to Jonte Porter, but the league has said at this point their measure is to work and cooperate with federal authorities.
Interesting. That's a big deal because, I mean, a lot of people point out the hypocrisy of us because we talk about sports, and sports betting is such just a natural part of conversation now in sport. And obviously a lot of people are benefiting from it, us included. We will not say that we are not a company that has certainly benefited greatly from the sports gambling. Shout out to FanDuel, by the way.
Yeah, shout
out to FanDuel. Change all of our lives.
Yeah.
Change everything. And obviously ESPN Bet now is with ESPN. The difference is that whenever you're competing in the sport, if you were to do what we do as retired athletes, which is why our message is always like, hey, when you retire, it's going to be there.
Just wait.
It's going to be there. And it's going to be awesome. And you're going to be able to get better at it, actually, because you're going to be able to actually focus on it, as opposed to have somebody have leverage over you for the rest of your life with what's happening now. So it's like, I understand there could be some hypocrisy. See, also, the games have to keep their integrity. That Tim Donaghy stuff still makes people think that the game is a work. I mean, that is like the biggest part of all these leagues is people have to think that this isn't a work. People have to believe that their team can win and that they can just out-effort and out-execute. So that's why, as former players, I think it's a bad idea to have gambling, and I think it should be stern punishments. Like a lot of people try to say, well, compared to this, you're getting this, like lifetime ban, and they're letting this. It's like, because that would fuck it up for everybody. Like everybody in every league, everybody in the league, every person, every family, it ruins everything. So I hope that what they're saying or alleging, and I saw some videos.
Oh, yeah.
I saw some videos on X. Are not true about Malik Beasley. And I hope this doesn't become a big thing because we'll lose our leagues.
Yeah, can't have that.
Can't lose our leagues. You know what I mean?
This Pat, though, this does have, from a perspective of basketball and free agent. Like I'm an NBA insider. My job is to break news. This Malik Beasley situation had a direct impact on free agency. He was one of the best players in free agency. He has an impact on the Pistons. He has an impact on at least 4 or 5 other free agents. Like this, the domino effect that has come from this is a lot bigger than just a normal person realizes. Like it impacted who Detroit's now going to go after in free agency, what other teams are like. It has a trickle down effect. So that's why the timing of this was probably why it was what it was. But I mean, in the case of what could have been for Malik Beasley versus what it is, it's not the most ideal.
All right, we move on. Good luck, Malik. We hope you didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you did, though, they're going to find out.
Yeah,
no doubt.
They have you. They know exactly where you're at right now.
Got your social.
If you stop to pee for longer than 35 seconds, they're going to send you a message on your watch saying, "Are you all right?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they know everything. They know everything. Go ahead, AJ. You're muted.
This moron's muted.
You muted your mic and forgot to unmute it.
No, it was actually, you got me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
It was through FaceTime. It was a FaceTime situation. Shams, Don Staley, the next head coach of the New York Knicks. Is that true?
That is not something that has come at my desk. The Knicks, to my knowledge,
What are the
still.
Don goes, I go.
Again, it's not something that has hit my desk as of yet. But listen, the Knicks are going through their process.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're talking to several candidates. James Borrego, Taylor Jenkins, Mike Brown, Mike Honori. Those are the known interviews so far that I have.
I will say this. I watched Coach Jenny for the Pacers kick ass through this entire playoff series. She is awesome. I also learned about her story. I think she's a single mom as well. Her daughter has kind of grown up around the teams that she has coached. She's great for the Pacers. And Don Staley, obviously, basketball G. Everybody likes Don Staley. Good luck. That'd be a huge play. That'd be that'd be the most craziest offseason ever.
Yes.
And we'd be obviously very celebratory in all of it. All right, Shams, we appreciate the hell out of you for joining us, man. Good luck figuring out federal investigations. Good luck. Because
4 hours.
Well, okay. Yeah, 4 more hours for free agency, but you're also going to be in the middle of some federal investigation stuff with Malik Beasley. Good luck with those things coming across your desk. You know, we're going to need you to kind of figuring all this shit out.
I'm bobbing and weaving. I'm doing it all, baby.
Do you remember when he was down at City Hall in New York when the Kyrie Irving stuff was going on?
Yep.
My sources told me at City Hall, is what he said,
Yeah.
with a straight face.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. You're the man, ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, he was.
He would come on our show and be like, my sources at New York City Hall are telling me, yada, yada, yada. And it was like, what a piece of information there. Kyrie was in the middle.
That was crazy.
Kyrie could go as a spectator. Remember, he could get the seat right next to the Knicks bench.
Yep.
So stupid.
Could basically sit on
And he did.
the Knicks bench, and he did, and it became a big story.
so big.
Could not be a part of the Knicks organization though because of, he wouldn't get the show.
Wow.
The
Nets.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Nets. Sorry. Jeez, that's 100% on me. In Brooklyn, in New York.
Nick's on the mind. We were just talking about, you know.
Hey, what if Don Staley is the head coach?
That would be, you're right. That would be most craziest offseason ever territory. That would be such a massive swing.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
Then what if they bring in LeBron to the Knicks? So all they were talking, because, that creepy video was released.
Very creepy.
I don't like that.
That was in New York,
that
too,
one
wasn't
bit.
it? Maybe not.
I don't know.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was in New York.
That was weird. Did you see this, AJ?
I don't think so. No.
We're not going to run it because it's a creepy video, but a lot of people just spread it, and it was a creepy video. LeBron at dinner, like sitting a couple seats down.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah, whoever recorded
Like
that.
a
I don't know.
Benihana.
Yeah, it was like a Benihana situation, and you would have thought that LeBron at a Benihana would have the entire thing for him and team.
Exactly.
Feels like maybe he didn't. I don't know, just the way the video came off. So this one guy is recording LeBron at Benihana. Holy shit, I'm eating Benihana with LeBron. And he turns to the chef, obviously, because the show's going on. And then in the background, overheard LeBron saying he might retire, play 1 year, and he likes New York, and his wife wants him to retire and all this shit. So, then that just spreads, And that's a background conversation in a video of a guy who didn't appear to be with him, but nonetheless. But everybody started pushing that. And it's like, he said something about New York beforehand, he started spreading. He loves Madison Square Garden.
He does.
It would make some sense. It would make some sense.
It definitely would. And it's in the East. The whole conversation about the East right now with Tyrese and Tatum.
What if LeBron's player coach over there for the New York Knicks?
Oh,
Nothing happens by accident, Jackson, with LeBron. All right? This hasn't happened for 23 years. A conversation at dinner league. It was weird.
Oh, you're saying that was a work.
Maybe it's a work.
He's the best worker in the game.
Brown would have the entire Benihana. He would sit down.
It was a double date, though. But it was a double date. It was with Kevin Love and Kevin Love's wife. Now, what if Kevin Love's wife?
That's close circle. No, that's close. That's family. That's family.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like if LeBron or Savannah calls and they're like, "Hey, the Jameses are coming through tonight," obviously they're gonna fine. But if Kevin Love's wife calls,
can get a private.
I agree, but we don't know. Since this is in New York, this might be K Love's home base. They're like, "Oh, K Love's coming back through with his wife. Let's go. It's a double date night. We'll put him at the cool table with all of our other."
I understand
regulars.
we need the full Benihanas.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Might not have been possible. Might have been a last-second decision. Whatever the case, I didn't like that people were spreading that video.
No.
I didn't.
It's got to be against the law.
I almost commented on one of the very big accounts and was like, hey, there's some real creep shit here. There's some real,
Recorded without knowing.
Now, I guess paparazzis have kind of made it a business in of itself, but it's like.
Yeah, but paparazzis, like, they know, like for the most part, like they're taking pictures at him. Like this guy is trying to be coy, like not doing it, but he's picking up the audio.
To be clear, LeBron's got to know that.
True.
I've been at dinner with some people, and we are very much in the middle of a restaurant, and people are just saying stuff, and I'm like, hey.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
What do we...
Everybody can hear you right now, bud. Like that happens all the time.
I don't want to sound like a narcissistic prick right now, okay? But the moment that we walked in here, everybody knew we were in here, okay? Because probably nowadays, whenever we go out, it is like a fucking full group rolls in. Everybody, as soon as we walk into everywhere we go. And then if we sit down in the middle of a public area, very quiet all of a sudden,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, everybody in here is listening to our entire conversation right now. Let's understand that. Not everybody understands that. People are very loud. Sound like LeBron, loud talker.
That's Bron, no. And
that was public.
And him and K.
You can't be doing that.
6'10". Like you're not going anywhere.
Exactly. NBA guys, no chance.
So he know. I don't know. It was creepy. The video was creepy, but I mean, I'm sure LeBron's not stressing about that bit. This is.
Was it hibachi table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to get carried away there. You get excited, you get captivated by what's going on for the show.
Shooting the sake.
Train.
The sake's peeing in the guy's mouth.
Dude, how about boom? Boom. Catch it at the top of the hat.
Yeah.
What a play. How about one of them pine, shrimps?
Yeah, throw shrimp in fields.
That's a good point, Nick.
They make us dance. Little sake guy. Hey!
Everybody goes crazy.
Oh, my God. I was a hibachi fan.
We also
obviously. Obviously.
It's great.
I'm getting a full show here.
Yeah.
And then if somebody messed up, obviously we got a full on. Ho, ho, ho. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's restart that thing. Start the period over. Let's go back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of the show, there's a man who is in the show, who is doing something that no person in the history of his position has done. He's a catcher, which obviously I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I know Jason Kendall.
Hell yeah. Sure. The catcher.
I understand everything about it. But the catcher position obviously involved in every single pitch, crouched over. Obviously you would hope that they'd be great on the offensive side of the ball, but you don't know if they expect that they are going to be the best in the entire league. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now from the Seattle Mariners, we're the number 2 team in the AL West, affectionately known by many as Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Cal,
how are we doing, guys?
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Can I please say congratulations on a phenomenal everything that you have going on right now? We put up all the records, and also I believe All-Star voting is taking place right now. This is phase 2, which is not phase 1, even though he had a huge lead in phase 1 because of the performance that he's had thus far. Phase 2, everything's wiped clean. You got to re-vote, okay? You got to re-vote. Only one hashtag vote can be used per person. You got to go to mariners.com/vote to get this man into the All-Star game, which obviously you have earned it and deserved it with your performance thus far. Let's talk about your performance thus far. We have learned about you because it's the greatest nickname I've ever heard about in sports, Big Dumper. Now, we were told by Jet Passon that your mom maybe doesn't love Big Dumper, so we started saying Big Thumper a little bit, because it's in the ballpark, but it's more so thumping a ball or doing that. Does your mom hate Big Dumper? How do you feel about Big Dumper, the nickname?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the one you write up, right? As far as nicknames go, but no, my mom's learned. She's learned to love it, so she's all good with it. I think it's great. Everybody here in Seattle loves it, and it's like I said it a few times. The more fans now, they're wearing Big Dumper jerseys than they are Raleigh jerseys. So it's become like a little fan favorite thing.
Okay, so we can say Big Dumper and sleep soundly at night, not knowing we're not.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big fucking Dumper. Yeah. Cal Raleigh. Yeah. All right, let's get to it. What you're doing at the catcher position is obviously historic. Have you always been a catcher? When have you always been a big bat? And why aren't catchers always known for hitting dingers? I'd watch Jason Kendall walk up there, no gloves, massive jaw, and obviously he would do his thing. But the catching position, it feels like what you were doing, it is being talked about as historic, legendary, anomaly-like stuff. Why is that as a whole, Cal, for a baseball idiot like myself?
Well, yeah, I mean, catcher's a glove first position, right? So, their job is really to play good defense, take care of the pitching staff, run a good game, help the pitchers get through. Really, is kind of their job. So, and the bat kind of comes secondary, and everybody really knows that. So, it's almost a plus if catchers can hit sometimes. So, it's a tough position. You're constantly squatted down. It's a lot of wear and tear on the knees and the body, and there's some built-in off days there, and you've seen some teams just go with a full platoon style, catching system. So you want to keep guys fresh, and you don't see as many, main starting catchers anymore. So it's a tough position on the body and mentally, and I'd say that's probably why you don't see as many catchers, put up the offensive numbers that you see. Some of the, Aaron Judges and Shohei Ohtani's.
That's why Big Dump's old school.
It's different.
You know what I mean? Big Dump's an old school catcher out there. How old are you, Dump?
I'm 28.
Did you guys have knee savers? Did you use those when you were growing up, the knee savers, or did you hate those?
Yeah, I think in Little League, one or 2 years, I had those built in. So
I thought those were supposed to save you guys. You guys weren't supposed to be as sore from crouching. I had to hold, for like field goals. I had to hold. That's one. We do 3 times a game, 4 times a game, maybe. I would get up. Shit. Like that. That's how I would get up. You guys literally having to crouch the entire game. It's been something that I've been on 80 milligrams for, and I've actually thought, this dude is in a deep squat for 3.5, 4 hours. So the fact that you're able to is there anything you do differently than other players to get your shit back activated, or has there anything you've changed your focus on to become a better hitter in this entire thing whenever it comes to taking care of your body? Big Dumper, obviously, we're doing a lot of legs. We're in a deep squat.
Yeah.
That's why we got this massive ass. That's what we're doing around here. But is there things you have to do, you think, to make yourself handle all of that while also being good with a bat?
I mean, yeah, you learn over time, and I'd say once you get into pro ball, you're starting to play, 140 games, and you get to big leagues, you're playing 162. So you just learn how to take care of yourself, and you do the right things in the off season as far as lifting goes. And then after a while, you kind of you almost get used to it in a way, just because you're doing it so much, and you learn what your body needs and what it doesn't need. And it's just one of those things you just gotta every day kind of be consistent with what you do. And I'd say the more often you could do that, the easier it becomes. I don't think it ever becomes easy, but there's some days where you're feeling a little more than others. Day games, or maybe a day after a long extra inning game, probably.
Yeah, because you guys are on tour for 7 months straight or whatever. Squat, buddy. Come on, get down there. Go to a new city, squat, brother. Need you to do that here in the middle of this ballpark. Great views, though, from where you're at. Everybody's paying to be where you are. A lot of money. Everybody's paying to be where you are. Pittsburgh's the best park you've ever been to? Yep.
It's a pretty cool park. I'm not gonna lie. I liked playing there.
I assume that means you did well. Okay, AJ has a question for you. Okay, relax, Dump, please. Jeez.
Yeah, obviously you're a product of your own success, and you've been so successful. You're getting intentionally walked, it seems like, more and more as time goes. How do you attack at bats knowing that, hey, I may only get 1 or 2 good pitches to hit each game? How does that change your impact at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it can kind of mess with you a little bit, get in your head as far as are these guys going to pitch to me? Are they not going to pitch to me? But I've kind of found that, the more you can just keep it the same and just have that same kind of approach every single time. And I think if it's if you're ready to go and you're prepared, then you don't have to worry about anything. You'll be fine. You'll swing at the pitches you want to swing at. You'll take the ones you want to, and it's baseball. Sometimes you're going to chase, sometimes you're going to miss, and sometimes you're going to hit it. So you just got to be ready every single time, and not expect to go up there and get walked, because that's when you kind of mess yourself up a little bit, I'd say. So
for you hitting, whenever you bounce back and forth from either side of the plate, what are you looking at? Is it some pitchers that that you're better on this side of the plate? Is it, right arm's a little sore today, let's go ahead and make the left arm the lead arm? What is the decision-making process on why you're on either side of the plate?
No, it's mainly just whatever arm is on the mound. So if a righty's throwing him, hitting lefty. If a lefty's throwing him, hitting righty. It's kind of because of the breaking balls. You want breaking balls coming into you rather than going away from you. So really the only pitch that I had to worry about at the end of the day is changeups just going away from me. So that's the only one. Yeah, that's kind of why switch hitters do it. They, kind of helps out. You don't have to face left on left, right on right, which is notoriously, a little tougher for people to do because, you got breaking balls, you got sinkers, you got things like that.
Sweepers, all those things. Yeah, we know.
Sweepers, the new fad. So
that's a great pitch.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, but yeah, there's some guys like Tommy Edmond in the league. He goes. Sometimes he'll go right on right. Depending on what type of pitcher's throwing. So it's actually kind of interesting how he does it.
You ever bought back and forth in an at bat? Like, I'm not seeing it good. Let me go to the other side. Yeah, in the middle of the at bat or not? Maybe every pitch. What do we see?
Oh yeah, some Japanese high school player was bouncing
back and forth. And he also did this one too. I believe he crouched down, maybe small strike zone, back and forth. Yep. It was a full show. I'm not saying you should make a mockery out of this thing, but have you ever bounced back and forth in an at bat?
Never in at bat. I've switched mid at bat when they brought in a pitcher. Like it was like a 2-1 count or something. They brought in a new pitcher, so I switched to the other side. But yeah, I mean, if you're switching back and forth the whole time, you're probably not in a good place on the other side of the plate.
Don't you think you should get a count for both of them?
Yeah.
They should have to strike out both of you.
Yeah.
That should be
0-2, switch it up.
So, all right, let's get to you having monster wood this year. Monster. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Cal, I think everyone who loves baseball is jacked up that you're going to be in the Derby this year. But I'm just curious. There's always that kind of rumor, and I don't think it's ever been proven or disproven, that once you get in the All-Star game and the home run derby specifically, it can kind of like fuck up your swing for the second half of the season. I think you've gone 6 games in a row right now without a homer, which, for your pace this year has been crazy, but people already say like, oh, he's starting to lose it a little bit. Like, are you worried at all about your swing getting messed up in the Derby just because it's so much different than what you do night in, night out? And also, how jacked up are you to have your dad pitching to you?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm super excited to be doing it. It's kind of one of those like dream come true kind of things. As a kid, you always, you find a fence somewhere and you pretend to play home run derby with your buddies, and getting my dad to throw to me. I'm gonna have my little brother. He's gonna be behind the plate catching for me. He's 15, so
is he a catcher as well? Your dad's a catcher, right? Former catcher. Is he a catcher as well?
Yeah, my dad was a catcher. My little brother, he's 15. He's a catcher right now. He's playing the whole travel ball thing, and so he's pretty jacked up about it too.
I would say the biggest asses in all the towns, the Raleigh family, when they walk in.
Probably.
Yeah. All 3 catchers walking in.
Look out.
Three. I think your dad was also coach too, right? I assume.
Yeah. Dad was a coach and a catcher, and yeah, my little brother, he's kind of built just like me now. He's a little taller than me now, actually, which is crazy at 15. But we're blessed. We're blessed from that side of the family.
Yeah, amen, brother. Great for being a catcher and for hitting well, having a lot of power. Will you bounce back and forth in there? You might have.
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to. I mean, I know right field's a little shorter, so lefty might be a little more primary, but
you'll be fresher though. Early rounds, boom, and then push into the later round, going to righty. Haven't hit yet all night. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of cool, right?
Strategy.
It would.
Yeah, 2 guys.
Adley Rutschman did that a couple years ago in the Derby. He didn't win it, but that was the best part of the night. He was bouncing back and forth and just hitting bombs from the left side.
Could you imagine if they had graphics? Dumper on your left. Yeah. Dumper on your big dumper. Sorry, it's not just a regular dumper. I am 100% apologetic for that. If you were to win the home run derby, could you imagine this season being outrageous?
Man.
D-Bud has a question for you, Cal.
Cal, coming into this season, did you know this was going to be a special season for you at the plate specifically? What was it, and at what point did you know, okay, this is I'm in a groove right now, I'm really seeing it?
No, not really. I mean, I actually had a pretty bad spring training in general. So it's kind of funny how it goes sometimes. I was trying to get ready for the season like a normal year, and things started clicking early on, and just kind of stayed the course. Really, I think when you play 162 games, it's a lot. It's a lot mentally, it's a lot physically, and a lot can change. And throughout a season, you go through a lot of ups and downs, and when you go through those downs, you can't really kind of stray off the path. So I think that's the biggest difference for me this year is, in the past I've tried to change things or maybe try to make adjustments that weren't technically needed. And this year I've just really trusted the plan and what I've been trying to do. And I'd say that's probably the biggest difference for why I'm where I'm at right now.
Are you a little bit stitious, superstitious, medium stitious? What type of stitious level are we at?
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Yeah, I can see that. We're doing the same cleat, especially with all the gear that you have. I assume there's some sort of what goes on first, when it goes on type shit. Do you have that or no?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure every ball player has their thing. You hit a homer, you wear the same pair of socks, same cup, you put everything on the same way, cleats, the way you wear your pants, all the way down to what you ate the day before. If you had a breakfast sandwich, you're gonna eat the same breakfast sandwich. It's coffee, same thing. So I think every ball player's like that, though.
Yeah, respect. Yeah, I love it. I love that that's part of your sport. With how long you guys are on the road and how much failing happens, finding some success and happiness, I assume, alongside of that is certainly something we're going to try to make the baseball gods continue to give to us. Now, a man has a question for you that was once the catcher for the number 24 team in the United States of America at Plum High School as a member of the Mustangs. Ladies and gentlemen, AP Tone has question.
That's true, Cal. Respect everything that you do.
He never wore knee savers either.
No, I did not. But I did wear the goalie mask helmet instead of the old school helmet that you are rocking right now. I noticed that your off days from catching are not really off days because you're DHing. I believe you've been in 82 of 83 games. Do you find it harder at the plate when you don't have to catch? Like catching gets you into the game more? Do you hate games that you don't catch?
Yeah, earlier this year I was actually it was like the first month or so of me DHing. I think I was really, really bad at it. Just because when you're catching, you have so much activity going on. You're worrying about calling a game. You're back there, framing, blocking, throwing people out, doing that whole thing, and you're so involved you don't even really have time to think about hitting or anything else. And then all of a sudden you're DHing and you're sitting on the bench. You're talking to pitchers who aren't playing, and they're talking about God knows what.
Yeah, couldn't even fathom you baseball players.
You're chewing seeds. You don't know what to do with yourself, and then you have to go hit, and then so sometimes you can throw you out of your rhythm a little bit. So it's a little funky, but I've kind of learned to find the right routine for that and the right mix in a way.
Hey, when you're framing, is it a wrist action, finger action? What am I?
Yeah, a little more with the elbow there. Go out.
Nailed it.
Ball. Is that what you're
pretty
saying?
Good?
That's
yeah, just a little like a press. There you go.
Are you working the umps for strike zones? How's that go between you guys? Because I obviously see coaches get pissed. I see pitchers get pissed. You have to deal with them literally on your back the entire game. What are the relationships like with the umps?
Yeah, I mean, each one's different, right? They have different personalities. Some are a lot more chatty. Some are not want to talk at all. Some are, they want to know if they think they got that right or not. So you kind of play the middleman a little bit. You don't want to, you're not getting on them all the time like you see, hitters and coaches and maybe pitchers sometimes. So, but you just got to keep them in check. You got to make sure that, you guys are on the same page. You're being respectful, and you're just having a relationship with them. Just talk to them, really. I think
Definitely.
That's the biggest thing.
That's a good idea, especially as a hitter. It's like, we want this guy to be my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all these guys. And you're right there in it. I love you saying some guys ask if you thought it was a right call or not. You'll say like, yo, missed that. Hey, we can't be having that. Okay, is that real? Is that real interaction? How regular is that?
Yeah, no, that's real. I mean, guys, umpires all the time, they're getting graded just like we are. So, they have their system of, calling balls and strikes, and they want to get as many right as they can. And so, a lot of the time they're just like, you with me on that one? Or, do you think that one was off, or do you think that was on a little bit? And you just kind of have that back and forth all game. Like I said, usually things are always good when you're just, being up front and just talking to them. And things start to go a little wiry when you start turning around, maybe saying things you shouldn't say, but which sometimes that happens. It's part of the game, and people there's money on the line, and there's games on the line, wins and losses. So
careers, legacies,
it can get emotional. So sometimes it gets the best of people, and it's happened a few times. So
Yeah, it's life's work, too. You're like, hey, what you're doing is ruining an entire family, an entire life's work, a legacy, a career, let alone everything else. In football, it's hard for these refs because some of the calls are obviously so close when it comes to holding. You guys, it's literally like that much. And then the catcher or the umpire, from what I've been told, I didn't play baseball growing up. My dad wouldn't let me hate the sport. Didn't like it. Didn't like that he didn't like the sport. I think I probably would have been an okay baseball player. But nonetheless, I don't know shit about him from Pittsburgh. The Pirates have been terrible. What I've learned is there's a lot of unwritten rules. And I think like umpires have like their own strike zone. So like that little box that's on TV, it's like, that's not always the strike zone. The umpire might have a different strike zone. It's like, well, why is the box on the fucking TV? Well, because this is still a human sport. They're not able to make it a robot yet. We shall see. The conversation continues with Big Dumper on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. We'll be back tomorrow. Goodbye. Okay, Dump, so I just had to call middle finger fastball to you there so you wouldn't talk. We just had to get off ESPN. Now we're going to continue on digital. Okay, so we appreciate you hanging out and watching all that take place. But that is a real thing, right? These umps are working their own boxes. And as a guy who sees the pitch, do you know that maybe a little bit more of advantage in this thing?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of crazy. You know, they had their own zone and the regulated strike zone. And last year and the year before, they had this 2-inch buffer zone inside and out of the zone, which was something that, if they call a striker ball in that zone, they weren't going to be docked, points or whatever for calling the wrong pitch. But this year they've shrunk it down to 0.75. And so now you're getting a lot of umpires calling a little smaller of a zone and being a little tighter because, they want umpires to get all the calls right. So, and as that's happened, you've seen a lot more ball calls. You're not seeing as many strikes. But in the past, each umpire had their own zone. It was kind of, special to them. And some people would give off the plate, some people would give up, and some people would give down, some people wouldn't give down. And it's just how it was. And there were a lot of unwritten rules, like you said. Guys, rookies, you better be swinging. It wasn't like there's this set strike zone where you had to get every call right. They would let you know, as soon as you got to the league, it's you better be swinging. You're not going to get any special treatment. Rookies are they're going to have a little bigger of a zone than the veteran guys are.
I love to hear that actually out of baseball. Hey, you want to make it in this league? We're going to need to see some action.
Earn it, son.
Okay, I love that.
Swing rook.
I love it. I love that the umpires are like, yeah, that is a strike. Okay. And you're going to shut your fucking mouth or get out of my league. Okay, that's welcome. I love that was a thing because that is like baseball has that more than any other sport. I think rules wise, hockey has like unwritten rules and it's like we're going to handle this. Baseball, it's like, I mean, if they get the signals, they get the signals. That's on you. I guess that's a big deal. Yes, I did my research and I thought about what I should ask a catcher in the MLB and what would be a good relevant question. They're trying to get your shit all the time. Right? They're trying to get your signals, your numbers, everything. Are we dancing? What is do we do a couple dummy calls? How do we, and who's relaying? How does that whole process go for somebody that doesn't really know?
Yeah, I mean, so there used to be, everybody used to do fingers, obviously putting them down. But I think in 2022, they switched to the pitch comm, which is basically an earpiece, kind of like in football, the quarterbacks have. So now pitchers have an earpiece in there, catchers have the remote and they're controlling and they're, I hit the button and it says fastball or it's slider. So it's, is it your voice? Away. Is
it your voice in their ear? And do you ever go like
just some kind of random AI voice,
Come on.
I think they should
it would be better if it was
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, we should put maybe you should be able to select who's giving it.
It's like when you're driving.
Okay. So
yeah, but people used to steal signs all the time because they would, especially now with video and stuff, they literally would hire somebody, be like, all right, what's this guy's signs when he comes in the game? There's a runner at second base. And they'd be like, all right, he used his second sign, shake to first. And teams would already know that. And then as soon as the guy gets in the game, they'd have their signs and they'd be relaying, to the hitter. And it's what it kind of came to with all the cameras and stuff when it came.
Yeah, and I heard garbage cans. We heard about the garbage cans in this entire thing. But then I heard baseball people be like, they kind of got it. Let's just move along. It's like in the football, whenever the Patriots got caught for whatever, all people in football were like, meh. Yeah, terrible. Let's move along. And it's like a very interesting thing about the sport. Now, you deal, obviously, with some of the most special people in the entire sports world. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Big Dumper. It feels as though most pitchers are lunatics, head cases, kind of walk to the beat of their own drum. There's stories about Zach Greinke being an absolute psychopath in the best possible way, though. Do you think that you have to kind of change how you call games and interact with pitchers based on who's pitching? How does that kind of go for a catcher? Sometimes do you want to say something to a pitcher, but you know, hey, nobody talks to this guy while he's pitching, so I can't really do that. What is kind of the communication like between a catcher and a pitcher in that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, you have your pregame meeting pretty much every time with a starting pitcher, and you know the way I kind of like to phrase it is, you know, you go over and it's like scouting reports and videos, and you know you have a plan, like in football you got your first 10 plays mapped out, and it's kind of how you do it the first time through the order. You got it kind of mapped out, and then you know after that you kind of go from there based off of what you're seeing. Some guys may be hot, some guys maybe not, and you might have to change some things up. And each guy's different, right? You know, we have 13 pitchers on staff, so it's 13 different personalities, and so you got to learn how to deal with every single one of them. Some are, like you said, like a little crazier, a little more psycho, a little, take that pre-workout Red Bull to the head, and they're geeked out by the time they get in there. And some are a little more calm and a little more, rational at the time. So it's just learning how to deal with those guys.
Yeah, I couldn't even fathom the amount of personalities that you have to keep focused and locked in. Good luck on all that. They're professionals too. Let's act like adults out here. But in baseball, it feels like there's more blow-ups. I love the kicking of dirt and the whole. I like that. I like the benches clearing too. Mm-hmm. I love just the theatrics of it all. We're jogging in from center field.
That's right.
Okay, we're jogging in from center, just so on film they know we were with the boys whenever there was an opportunity to fight. Now let's go back to what you said there about first 15 for football. Did you play football?
I think I went to one practice and I banged it.
All right, smart. Dad catcher, gonna have the whole time. Cal would have been a great.
Yeah.
Hey, you would have been a thumper, dude.
Fullback.
Yeah, Big Dumper would have been a thumper. Okay, so first 15 for football is offense coordinators are trying to get an understanding of how the defense is going to react if we were to do this type of formation or this style of play, and can they stop this? Like, if they can't stop this, we're going to go back to this. While you're going through the lineup for the first time, are you getting a sense of whether or not a guy is, let's say, nervous, scared, or is not seeing it on a particular day? And are you, like, trying to read body language and sounds or, like, aura almost while they're in there, while you're trying to call it? Or do we have a system like this is what we throw, this is what we throw, then this is what we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, you know your guy, so really you start off with your pitcher strengths, and depending on the day, maybe the guy's throwing a little harder, maybe he's throwing a little slower, and based off of that, maybe you're seeing something different with him. Maybe he's locating, maybe he's not locating, maybe he's landing in secondaries, maybe he's not. So a lot of it starts with the pitcher, and then based off of that, especially if the guy's been around for a while, players will start doing scouting reports. They'll set, they'll step off the plate a little bit, maybe they'll scoot up on the plate a little bit, and it kind of tells you what they're looking for and or maybe not looking for. So there's a lot that goes into it, like you said, with like body language and you can kind of tell too. If a guy takes an ugly swing at something, maybe he's not seeing that pitch particularly well, and that's kind of how it goes.
And how much are they looking at you? Are you scared to give anything away back there? Because I'll see you guys sometimes do a cool slide, and I'm like, The batter does not see that. Is that a real tell or not a real tell? Or can you not be seen by batter?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to set up too early because sometimes you might give away location, and a location might give away a pitch. So you gotta just stay honest, because you got people from dugout, you got people on base who may be watching, and if you're setting up a certain way for a certain pitch every single time, that could maybe be a tell or something like that. So you got to keep people honest, and there's always somebody looking for that extra advantage. It's usually somebody in the dugout or somebody on the base paths, and sometimes all it takes is that one little thing that can make a difference in a game.
Have you seen Dumper? He's got this cool slide. You know what else is coming with the slide? Curveball fucking thing coming every time. You see that big ass slide to the outside, just know what's coming. I love that you guys think about all these things because it's such an intimate, in such a fine line of success and failure, even though failure comes on a regular basis. Not for you offensively, obviously, this year. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Cal, obviously the power numbers have always been there with you, but I think the most impressive thing when looking at what you've done this year is your batting average is like 50 points higher than your career average. Do you feel like you've become a much more complete hitter this year? And like, what was the work that went into it this offseason? Because obviously, like if you make contact, you're always going to be hitting home runs. But I feel like you're hitting the ball to all fields incredibly well this year. And obviously, you're not just that guy who, hey, he's either going to homer, or he's going to strike out. Like that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I think first couple of years in the big leagues, obviously I knew I had the power. It was just, finding a way to put bat on the ball a little more often. So I think it just comes with learning yourself and learning the league and learning, certain type of pitchers and what you need to do against those guys, what you need to do against, other guys. And, also credit, Justin Turner a little bit too. He helped me out a lot last year. He's with the Cubs now and he's been around for a while. So he helped me a lot last year, kind of learn, how to approach certain guys. But yeah, like I said, sometimes it takes a little while to learn the league and learn how they're going to pitch you and learn certain type of pitchers and what you need to do against those guys.
All right, Dumper. I played baseball one time. I still don't know if I batted from the right side of the plate. I didn't know if I was a righty or lefty. I batted in the game righty, but the lefty swing so much smoother. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm supposed to be both sides of the plate.
Could be a switch hitter. Yeah, you're a switch hitter. Good.
That's a compliment. How many of you guys are out there in the league right now?
Not many.
It's a dying breed.
Not many power guys though. Did anyone try to make you not a switch hitter because you're such a power hitter?
I've always had people tell me different things. They're like, I think you're righty. I think you're lefty. But no, it was something I've always been stubborn about, and I was like, no, this is something I have to do, and I was always very committed to it.
I hit dongs, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm going to continue to hit dongs, okay?
Both sides.
Both sides of the plate. You roll a lefty out here, fucking righty me. Gone. You roll a fucking righty, lefty Dumper. Gone.
See ya.
But it's not just dong or gone anymore. He's getting wood on it.
Mm-hmm. Good wood.
He moves like a freight train down that fucking first baseline.
Imagine him with a football.
Oh,
come on.
One practice.
Mike Allstott Jr.
Oh my God, yeah, especially
the original big dump.
All right, Cal, we'll vote for you. The voting's very stupid, I will say. But hey, has anybody got an all-star game type thing right in any league? I don't think so. So we will play. Oh, actually, NHL with the Four Nations becoming 8. Sorry, they got it right. Everybody else is chasing it. Home Run Derby, always awesome. Big Dumper will be competing in it. And let's make sure we get him in the All-Star game by going to mariners.com/vote.
Boom.
That's a wild request.
Can you still do the hashtag vote Cal? Do we know? I think is that still
it's
a thing?
worth one vote per person.
Okay.
Only one time.
Okay. Only got a couple days here, so maybe a couple of those every
And shouldn't we be able to say hashtag vote Dumper?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, 1,000, you should have been.
Shouldn't you just be in if you lead the league in home runs?
Yes.
Congratulations. You made the All-Star game.
Good point.
That's what they should say. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll vote. We're voting for you.
Yeah, big time.
I appreciate that, guys.
We were trying to come to this. We want to let you know the Home Run Derby. We were trying our best to come.
You gonna make it?
I don't know if there's enough space. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. I guess we've kind of gotten in here late to the game, and all the spots have been taken up basically for everything. But Fosso is in the middle of trying to figure it out. So there's a chance. What I'm saying is we had wanted to come because we think the Derby's awesome. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm ADD guy. So, like,
yeah.
That's fun. I fucking love it. I love, especially your dad's pitching to you, your brother's catching. There's like emotional. I think it's one of the best things in all of sports, the Home Run Derby, legitimately. So we had wanted to utilize ESPN's access to get to the Derby. I guess we got in a little bit late, and now we're trying to figure it out. But we're trying to get there. Man, we're big fans of the Derby.
Well, they need to just do it like you do like when the national championship, the playoffs or whatever, you guys did your own little Pat McAfee, the broadcast live.
Oh,
let's do that. I'm sure you guys get more viewers for sure.
That would be fucking.
We would not get more viewers. With that being said, we need to get on
That would be awesome.
That would be fucking
That
awesome.
would be sweet.
Put us in a little thing. Put us in a little thing out there. I mean, put
Yeah, a
Pat's-
little cage. A little cage out there.
Absolutely. We
Just
definitely.
put you in center field.
Yes.
Yeah. Just have
I want a
earpieces.
glove. I need a glove, though.
Maybe put us in the bullpen.
Same, AJ.
Yeah, we need a glove. We definitely need to.
Yeah, but we don't need.
They got those kids out there.
Nah,
Maybe mid
older
out there
kids
with
now.
no glove, just running around.
Face. Hey, I heard these baseballs, they're trying to screw you hitters. What's that all about? And why are they doing that? It's not a problem for you, obviously, leading the league in homers, but they're saying that the seams are bigger. What is that all about?
Yeah, I mean, they're saying there's a little bit of drag in the balls. The seams are a little higher, which causes the ball to go a little, not as far. And, you don't really think about it until you hit one right to the wall, and you're like, damn it.
That should have been gone. Okay, so like,
if that's the drag coming into play, then that one would be out. So,
okay, so 3-point shooters, they know if the hoop is off by a centimeter. Okay, they know if it's off by a centimeter. For me, punting, soon as the ball was leaving my foot, I knew if it was a good ball or not. For you, is there one? Because I saw a highlight of a couple guys they were pitching this big seam bullshit ball thing. Even though I'm watching Shohei, Aaron, and you just take them out, they're like, hey, there's different balls this year. Guys think they're pimping these things. They're actually feeling as if it's home runs, and then outfielder literally just backing up like 10 feet and grabbing it and then throwing it in. Is there any time you've hit where you felt like it was gone and then it wasn't? Is that real?
yeah, I mean, that's real. I mean, a lot of
For
it's
the dumper, though.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you play places and you might have a little harder balls, and sometimes maybe not. And, it's something that you're constantly trying to figure out.
What are we doing with
sometimes
these balls? What's going on with
Yeah, sometimes the bigger market teams seems like they have harder balls.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yankees.
You don't know. I mean, there was that rumor going around a couple of years ago, when Pujols was trying to get to, was it 700?
Yeah.
They were sending him the harder balls, and the same
I love
thing with
baseball. I love it. All this shit is possible in baseball. Everything you just said, I'm like, yeah, I would do the same if I was the league. Like the ump giving a bigger strike zone against rookies. I like that move. I like that. Hey, welcome to the show. Yeah, it's a show. I like that, even though that's not. If they're sending harder balls for a chase, it's like, hey, it's within the rules.
Yeah.
These are all within the rules, but it is baseball. All of that I would believe. Any rumor is believable, I think, in baseball.
Yeah, well, it's like one of those things. Somebody starts it and then it gets around, and you don't even know if it's true at the end of the day. And it's one of those. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It could be a little bit of a conspiracy.
Connor, that has been proven that has never been a thing.
Look, I'm just saying.
That's why it was so believable.
The jury's still out that
Jet
Altuve was
Bassett
wearing an exoskeleton on his entire chest.
That's not true.
Jet Bassett came out and said the investigation said that never happened. But with that being said, as soon as that made its way on the internet, baseball people were like, it fucking makes sense. Yeah,
Remember he kept his shirt on after the walk-off home run? He's like, don't take my jersey
He was
off.
shy.
His wife.
It's because he had an exoskeleton on.
Anyways, it's all believable. You are unbelievable, though, sir. We appreciate the hell out of you, man. Good luck the rest of the way, and maybe we'll see you at the Derby.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You're the man. Hashtag vote Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, hashtag vote Dumper does not count as an all-star vote for Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, and don't search that on X.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of dumpers. All right, but there's only one big dumper.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cal Raleigh. Congrats, dude. Have a good one.
I thought hashtags were banned on X.
From ads.
Oh, only ads?
Yeah, only that.
Okay.
They're not completely banned.
They will always exist. You don't really need them, though, just because words exist. It's like, okay, you've never run a contest. You've never had to search for something. You've never had to. You've never, experienced the thing of it. I love Big Dumper.
Yeah.
He's the man.
He's great.
Big Dumper knows the program, too.
For sure. Need to get him out of Seattle, but outside of that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What?
Second in the
Short porch.
Second in the AL West.
Yeah, I get it. Short porch, Yankee Stadium. Big Dumper was made to be a Yankee.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Could you imagine the merch?
Yeah.
The Big Dumper in the big city?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
You'd have his ass just be like a big apple.
The moon.
Yeah, exactly.
The moon looking over a Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Writes itself. We'll revisit that in a couple years.
Sure.
I want him to, continue doing what he's doing in Seattle right now. But
Yeah.
People watching from Seattle are like, hey, fuck that
Gotta
guy.
be
for
kidding
sure.
me. Yeah.
For
We
sure.
got a guy. We got a
Sorry.
guy.
Beautiful ballpark, too.
You've been, right, up there?
Yeah, used to go every year to see the Sox.
I went up there for that Seahawks game against the Niners. Beautiful. Hey. And then we're up there for University of Washington's college game day. It is beautiful views up there. Beautiful vibes.
How are the fans for the Mariners? We know the Seattle Seahawks fans
die hard.
Yeah, they're good.
Kind of
good
fell
fans.
off.
They
a little
love the
bit.
Mariners in Seattle.
Still bring
Legit.
it.
They've had some good teams.
I think the Seahawks fans are like, what are we doing? I think the Seahawks fans are asking some questions. But who stole them? The Bills and the Chargers, right?
Yeah. Packers, too, big time.
Stole the stadium.
Yes. On
bad
Monday
year
Night Football.
That's
Or
not-
Sunday Night
that's
Football,
not
one of the two.
Seahawks.
Probably not Chargers, though.
Not the Seahawks fans, we know.
Yeah.
Chargers got it.
They get their stadium stolen.
That's because Los Angeles.
No,
everybody
Marianne
wants-
Doe.
Yeah. Buffalo Wild Wings.
She's still a super fan, yeah.
She is a good super.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't she on the show?
Yes,
Yes, she
she was
was.
on the show.
I remember
Of course, she would be on the show.
Great gift.
Why wouldn't she? Yeah.
Somebody mentioned something to me the other day, and I just thought to myself, I can't believe our show is a show. Hey, do you remember when blah, 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 blah? That's when I started watching. I was like, of course, of course.
Who, Dr. Drew? We had Dr. Drew on earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, not only Dr. Drew,
He's
we
a
had
real
Myron
doctor.
Roll.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Myron Roll.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Brain doctor.
He was great.
Yeah.
Brain surgeon.
Brain surgeon, yeah.
He's
Rhodes
up there.
Scholar.
Rhodes
Dr.
Scholar,
Drew's
yeah.
a real doctor.
One of the greatest interviews.
People say he wasn't.
I think you could definitely take away from us that we're a curious bunch.
Yeah.
Also, Dr. Merrill Hodge.
Yeah, Dr.
Yes.
Merrill Hogue. Good
Right.
point.
He's a mathematist. I forgot.
Yeah.
He's a doctor of math.
Yeah, went to
Taught
MIT.
everyone about fractions. Yeah.
Yeah.
The denominator's number that is needed. Okay, you do all this shit. We need a little context.
Turns out he was right.
What?
Yeah. Check the tape.
The science checked out?
Yep.
Math.
Oh,
The math checked.
yeah, science.
Yeah, he was.
Science actually funny.
Science whole question.
Funny enough about the science.
A lot of that. There's a lot of the science. The thing about it is, it feels like there's always the complete opposite side that has the same thing that is arguing harder back. That's the
For
word.
everything. That's for everything.
Everything. And there's stats that legitimize every argument somehow. I don't know how we've gotten to that point. That isn't necessarily what I was led to believe, I think, whenever I learned about this shit. But then I'll start reading people that feel the exact opposite way that I feel about something. And I'm reading like what they're saying, how passionately they're saying it. And then they're throwing in baba da baba da baba. And I'm like, pretty good argument, you know?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. And then I have fucking da 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 da. And it's like, they have to respect my side. Nope, completely wrong. It's like, I don't know. We've gotten to a point where there's so much information, but not enough context, I guess, would be kind of the way to describe it,
Well,
if you were to break it down.
Just flooded, where you're flooded with so much information that how are you ever supposed to know what's right and what's not?
Yeah, especially nowadays, especially with what Grok can do.
Yeah.
That's why just do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want. Who cares? That's what I say.
Okay, that's a good message.
Great.
Love it.
Don't
Live
worry.
your life.
Don't worry.
Live your life. Live your life. Live your life. That's what you were saying?
Yeah, absolutely. No matter what you're saying, no matter what you think is gospel, you're going to have plenty of people that think the complete opposite. Like, cool, you're allowed to. I'm going to go about my way.
Yeah,
Continue to do it.
They've had different life experiences. They've met different people, gone through different things. That's experiences. Obviously, I just doubled down on the same thing, but you get it. Might have a little different life. Is lacrosse happening?
Yeah, lacrosse is happening. I think it was actually prime time, 6 p.m. on ESPN this past weekend.
What is this, PLO?
PLO.
Saturday night, right? Yeah, Saturday night PLO.
Yeah, Saturday night, bingo.
Okay, your kids playing lacrosse. Are they watching lacrosse?
Oh, yeah, they love it. Kavanaugh boys, they love all those guys, yeah.
Okay, so those are people that have been on our show. Are you guys watching PLO? Legit, I'm asking this question as somebody like...
Not like appointment TV, hey, the game's on at 6, but when I see that the game is on, boom, we will lock in then.
Okay, because like the soccer world, whenever I was a kid, they're like the more kids we have playing soccer, the more kids that watch soccer. That was kind of always like the thought. I was a person that grew up in a household that I played soccer. We did not watch soccer though. So it was not like a should have, probably should have, would have been able to learn some things, probably would have been a little bit more invested in leagues and stuff like that. But I wonder if lacrosse, because if they're having a boom youth wise, are those kids also watching lacrosse? And are we getting to a point where PLL, and I'll tell you what, that NLL.
Yeah.
Sure.
I enjoy both of them can make it. They're two different sports, obviously. Does it get to a point where it's like actual needle mover, because it could be. Live sports have become that. In lacrosse, I guess has the chance to become that.
Yeah, I think the college game has typically always been the appointment TV for lacrosse. I feel like that is the one that's growing before the PLL. I actually believe there is a little bit of controversy between the PLL and the NLL now with the new ESPN PLL deal. I'm not sure, and I haven't confirmed this completely, but my source have told me that there is kind of this looming decision to be made between the NLL and PLL, and that
for players,
that their seasons might overlap, in that there might be some sort of, hey, you kind of have to pick one, or you kind of have to align yourself with either the NLL or the PLL. Yeah, I believe this actually just happened. One of the best players in the PLL. Yeah, it's very dumb. I just learned about this last week when we were trying to obtain certain phone numbers. And I was told that there are some things that might be coming down the pipe after this season between the NLL and PLL that are going to be very bad for the league if they can't figure it out. Because if you're to split, obviously the biggest thing for them is just, hey, all the best players are playing in one league or both leagues at certain times, and now all of a sudden there might be a situation where some guys are going to go to
I don't love that.
PGA Live.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Can't have it. I don't love that at all, especially for a league, and maybe this will change with the contract and everything like that. But if you can get money in your offseason, that's like I'm learning about these Arena League boys, the soccer players. It's like what they're making for their seasons, their salaries. Okay, good amount of money. Not like comparative at all to any of the other leagues, but a good amount of money to live during that period of time. Live. I'm not saying like save money and, invest in the future.
Get groceries and be comfortable.
No, you're able to do that.
Oh, okay.
The guys at the top are during the league, but it's like you're getting an apartment, thank God. You're getting a grocery stipend, I believe, thank God. And then the amount of money you're making is like good amount of money for that period of time, but you're not getting paid for any other time. So then these other tournaments that these guys are able to go to, or these other leagues they're able to play in, like supplement their income. I think women's basketball
WNBA.
WNBA. And then they would go overseas during the offseason to make more money. So it was like, so they could have like, the WNBA is doing it currently with this 3-on-3 league that Bree Stu started down there at Rival. So it's like the fact that if lacrosse does end up just becoming a one league only per player thing, it's like you don't get that double check, that double play that I was thinking has probably been happening.
It would be awesome if they did, like if the NLL and PLL joined, but if they stay split, that would be an absolute nightmare for like the growth of lacrosse.
That'd be the biggest detriment to lacrosse ever, because then you'd basically force kids growing up like, hey, you're either going to play box lacrosse or you're going to play this other style.
Well,
and the other style isn't in the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly.
Box lacrosse is in the Olympics, right? A form of box lacrosse?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's exactly box with the boards, but the numbers, I believe, are the same for the Olympic game. But the thing is, it'll just completely split. It'll be Canada, because Canadians care about the NLL, like grow up watching it religiously, and then it'll be the PLO Americans. It'll be terrible.
Do you think there are enough good players to have two good leagues or no?
Probably two good leagues.
Yeah.
Well, I think it just all depends on when it is. Like you could have the NLL could be all the greatest players in the world, but if it's aired between September and December, no one's going to watch because it's football season. Like there is that window after the NBA, like right now when the PLL is. That's like ideal. But like the NLL season is at such a tough time where it's hard to care about.
I just learned a lot about me. Who cares about the NLL?
The Canadians.
And who cares about PLL?
Yeah, the United States.
Sure, a PLL guy.
I didn't know had any Canadian thoughts like that.
Doug goes.
I like doubles. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I love poutine. I think it's good.
Sure.
I'm not eating it every day. Toronto is a beautiful city. I got a chance to enjoy that place.
Smooth cream meal.
Smooth cream meal. Executive Sidney Crosby. He's giving me a lot of happiness from Canada.
I wouldn't be too hard on yourself.
But I don't like to say that I have Canadian views on stuff. I don't want to say, no offense. One Niagara Falls. I grew up there. Me and Nick. Basically, I love that place. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I found myself naturally watching NLL, thinking to myself, oh, that's more high-paced, that's tougher, they're fighting each other, and a little bit more electrifying. Now, PLL, a lot of talent, a lot of conditioning, a a lot of cardio. I respect it. So it feels like the Canadian version of the game is a little bit more.
It's like soccer versus TST style.
Exactly.
It's kind of how it is.
That's exactly right.
But the Canadian version is a little bit more. Did we expect that? I don't know.
They still fight in the PLO. Actually, Kavanaugh got into one.
Well, I guess we should have with hockey, right? Because they all.
Yeah.
Oh, the Canadians, it's a fucking. I'm not getting into it.
You heard what Big Perk said last week. They're dogs.
He's looking for what's in their water.
Yeah,
he did say that.
I like the NLL. I like the PLO as well. Okay? I'm not getting. I respect the PLO. I will watch it. The NLL, though, fucking.
Well, yeah, just tight quarters. So, yeah, and they fight, all of that. It's a little, yeah, it's definitely different.
It will be interesting to see if the PLL changes to 6-on-6 after, like, the Olympics.
Ooh.
Because if the Olympics is going to be kind of the goal as a lacrosse player, then why wouldn't they change the game itself to what the Olympic game is going to be? Not college, but in the pros, I mean.
I thought about that a little bit. I had a conversation with somebody about when Canada wanted to kill me. Do you remember that time?
Sure. Money in the Bank.
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I'll never forget it. So, I mean, there was a lot of them, but we were up there in Toronto, and me sitting around, just as somebody that grew up in sport, in Olympic sport too, soccer, like, hey, we are, the national anthem in sports is like a big deal. It either means we fucking won or something big's about to go on. So, like, obviously have always felt that we are better than other countries. Like, whenever we are, and that's strictly from a sports-minded human being. Whenever we watch the Olympics, and I think we've explained about this, we are tough to handle because we expect to win every gold medal, and we are better than everybody, and we want to beat everybody. That is the sports mindset whenever it happens.
It's America.
Bingo. So when that booing takes place, and everything goes down after that, it's like, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. And then I start getting attacked, for good reason. Hey, you got passion for your country. I'm just letting you know I got some for mine as well. And if we're just going to judge off politicians' decisions, I need to be well versed whenever it comes to the Olympics on who's playing who and who we're allowed to boo and who we're not allowed to boo during their national anthem and it all. But like, Canada is a fucking sick place.
No, it's not.
What?
Just not true, but I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
And they've kind of fallen into line, so.
What do you mean?
Toronto's nice.
Toronto's very nice.
Really?
It's definitely nice.
The
There's
West
nice
Coast
spots.
is way nicer than Toronto.
I don't know,
Montreal?
brother. I grew up in the Niagara Falls area there, okay? So I'm not even going to get into that. Montreal is north of Toronto.
Yeah, East Coast.
I do believe. He's talking about Saskatoon.
Sure, well, I get that.
And Victoria.
Victoria and Vancouver, British Columbia, by far the most beautiful in Canada.
Where'd Sidney Crosby come from?
Ooh.
Other way.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah, he's on the East Coast.
Yeah, he should be part of America. But if Indianapolis,
Lower than Maine.
If Indianapolis was in Canada, it'd be the greatest city in the country. So,
well, Indianapolis is a great city.
Amen.
Let's not get that. They have some laws up there that I wouldn't mind Indianapolis adopting.
For sure.
I wouldn't mind keep the taxes, but I would take the couple of the vitamins laws.
Yeah, unfortunately, damn near every state touching Canada has that. It's just Indiana.
Never going to.
Just never going to.
Never? Really? What is it? Who's holding it up?
Who is holding it up?
I think there's a couple people.
Yeah, there's.
You could probably think of.
Yeah, I think
Couple
Lilly
notes.
is the biggest. Lilly's like the biggest company in Indiana.
Oh, pharmaceutical.
And it's the campuses.
And they give back a lot of money to the city. Now, they probably feel obligated to do as such, but they give a lot to the city, to the state, to the politicians. I mean, Lilly is a very massive.
They're lobbying hard in Indiana, you're saying?
We got cold beer on Sunday like 5 years ago. You couldn't even get cold beer on a Sunday, like that type of stuff. Maybe 10 years ago now.
When I first moved here, you couldn't get it.
Okay.
Wow.
So, within the last 7 years.
Recent,
So that's why we're saying it. We just don't know. We think it's going to be a tough fight, but we would pull for somebody if they were to get behind it and were like presentable stuff whenever they're at the gubernatorial debate.
I was just going to say, if we could somehow track down Bobby Rainwater and just kind of refine a couple things, hey, don't need a Hawaiian shirt during the
Don't
debate.
need your hair. Let's make it look at least presentable.
Just a couple tweaks, and we might be okay.
This guy was running for governor. He was big.
We loved him.
Legalization of marijuana. Okay, and I hadn't seen him. I don't think we've ever seen him. We had just seen the quotes. And then there was a gubernatorial debate that popped up, and it was like watching this for sure. I have no idea how I got caught in it. And I got to see, he actually did a walk-in. They did like entrances. Like people would walk in, they'd sit in their little spots, and it was slotted, each three of them. He was the independent, so he was in the middle. And he literally walked in late. Hawaiian shirt, hair all over the place. Like, our guy's got no shot.
It's like an AI. If you typed in, like, what does someone who's doobies look like?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, buddy, we got no chance with you out there. Come on. You got to
candidates in suits?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Assuming?
Full on.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a lady, a dude.
Was it Sleeping Joe Donnelly?
I don't think he was governor ever. It was, who's the most recent governor?
Holcomb?
Yeah, he got done.
Yeah.
He retired. Remember, he was like super into governing. Like, he really enjoyed governing. Every time I talked to him, he was like, we got 35 days left to really make an impact or whatever. And I was like, hey, lame duck, about to be on your way out. He's like, nope, that's not how I view it. I view it as we got 35 more days for him. Like, he was like I don't want to say a robot, but he was exactly how you would hope that somebody that was in that world would be, wearing cool shoes and everything like that. I think he was running for governor for the first time. Last governor kind of left, and it was like a chance to open. And he was like, all right, we got a guy in here that wants weed. Can't wait to see him. Fucking turn that corner.
Like Jerry Garcia.
No
Grateful
shot.
Dead concert.
Cheech and Chong.
Come on, bro. Come on. Joe Donnelly had no shot. Nobody will ever give us credit for that.
Yeah, you let him know.
That was a pretty big deal. We broke news about 2.5 months before election night that incumbent Joe Donnelly had no fucking shot in this race. And nobody was listening. Nobody's first big announcement of the night. Kind of a startler here. Incumbent Joe Donnelly has lost in a pretty decisive vote to start the entire. They called it like 4 p.m.
Yeah,
maybe like 5
it was like while we were doing the show.
Yeah, it was still live. And that's just because we're local here. We're watching these ads, and it was like this guy was just getting beat down. I mean, every commercial break.
Yeah.
Did you know Joe Donnelly slept through 14 out of the 15 meetings about blah? That's why we call him Sleeping Joe Donnelly. If you want a better snooze, vote for Sleeping Joe Donnelly. And then it would pop up. And then there would be another one. Did you know that Joe Donnelly took 14 vacations to Mexico?
Mexico Joe.
He was there. He wasn't there when this was being discussed. That's why we call him Mexican Joe Donnelly.
Oh, yeah.
And this is every commercial. Boom.
Did he have any rebuttals coming back?
None.
He didn't care.
We were coming on our show like, hey, Joe Donnelly.
Fight back.
You need to
Fight back, Joe.
I'm learning a lot about you, Joe.
Well, you remember we saw him in the airport, and you were like, Joe, I tried to tell you. He's like, fuck it, don't worry about it. Let's get a picture. He knew. I mean, he just, what can you do?
It was him and Frances in that vlog of that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Heisman of radio.
Yeah. Heisman of radio. That was cool. That was cool to get out there and meet all those people. Joe Donnelly, that guy had no shot.
Nope.
Leave our politics out of it. We try to give Joe Donnelly a heads up every show.
Yeah.
Remember, it was last night they debuted a new one. Did you know this fucking guy? New piece of information. Oh. I learned so much about him. And none of it was good. And then he hopped in an RV one time for a 15-second seat. I'm getting to work for you. And then shut the door of the RV and he drove away. I was like, I don't know if that's enough.
No, yeah.
It isn't, Joe.
I don't know if that's enough.
I don't know.
Sorry, Joe.
He was going to teach a class, I think, whenever he went out there. I think he understood what happened. Here's me and him meeting for the first time. Me and Joe.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Joe. He was nice to us. I assume he tried his best, but I'll tell you,
Sure.
his marketing department or whatever the case is.
Yeah. It sounds like his competition just hit the nail on the head. He's like, fuck, that is what I did.
No rebuttal.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm going back to Mexico. They're right.
Yeah, Zito just told me. I do not remember this. So this would have to be a Zito. This is Zito. You could say this. What'd you say?
He told us that they spent $300 million on ads against them.
Yeah, because we got into the full conversation in person. So anytime I run into somebody, and if I remember that we had something, I will bring it up immediately. Just because it's going to be looming anyways. If I don't remember something happened with somebody, that's when, I don't remember somebody saying something about somebody, and I show up and they hate me for what's being said, and I'm walking into it, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's always something that's tough. If I know there's something, then it's like, all right, let's just bring this up immediately. So I go, Joe, literally, that's what I do. Joe, you had no shot. I don't know if you heard us. I did hear you. He did ask for a photo, and then I did a full-on. So how does this work? How does this whole thing? And he talked about how much money they raise, how they try to combat it, and yada, yada, yada. Then we learned a little bit about politics. Then he talked to us about he was going to be a professor somewhere. And I was like, well, good. is all that true? He goes, no, there's obviously. I'm like, okay, all right. Just happy to know you're not in Mexico or Sleepy Joe. He was maybe a little. And then,
Yeah, then he saw him get on a flight to Mexico City. Dude.
Yeah, and then he said he was born in. That's a wild world. All right, let's get out of here. What's happening tonight? Monday Night Raw, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Should be a great show. Should be a very good show, especially coming out of Night of Champions.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Early start too, 6 o'clock.
Did you see what Cena did?
Early?
With Charles
Disgusting
Robinson.
act.
Yeah.
That was sick.
What?
Charles Robinson.
Charles Robinson is a legend.
Yeah, and he ate one like a legend too.
Yeah, but the meme, obviously, of him sprinting out of WrestleMania is iconic.
Sure.
He's so athletic. He's been doing it for so long. He also oversees, I believe, the building of the rings every single day in every single arena. You're talking about pillar, legend of wrestling. One of the best wrestling.
Oh, no.
Just a shoulder tackle.
That's criminal.
You see his eyes get wide, like, oh no.
Oh no, he saw Cena turn the corner.
Yeah.
And I think he was thinking maybe this is an embrace, a hug, because we've been down so many roads together. You know, and then Seth freaking Rollins, he was threatening to cash in and see him.
I love watching him run.
Time to go to work.
Boom. Same leg, same shoulder.
All right, Stu.
Yep.
That was a great tackle by John Cena.
It was.
And John Cena did the handshake to Punk. And Stu got the zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good show, Night of Champions.
It was.
Really good show. There was a lot of, I think Nia was using a kendo stick. Something. There was a lot of that. Oh, Nia went through a table, 2 tables. I think there was a lot of
carnage.
We had some extreme, Night of Champions and SmackDown over there had a lot going on. All right, this is for Cal Raleigh get voted in the All-Star game.
Boom. Done deal.
Yeah.
Hashtag vote Cal.
Yep.
If you want to add,
Hashtag dumper.
vote dumper.
Yeah.
Should.
It's not going to hurt.
Vote big.
Should count.
Yeah.
Should count.
Vote big dumper should count.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You say he comes from a long line of dumpers.
Yeah. Big ones.
His boys are going to say, my father, my father's father, and my father's brother all play catcher.
Yeah.
That's what his dad played.
Grand dumper.
My great-grand dumper.
Yeah.
Yes.
He started the entire squad. That is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Just like
So long. It's so like grueling. I mean, how many games do they have? Like, it's just such a different experience than anybody else playing DH or in the field. It really is.
Like Tone said, he doesn't really get days off either. He's played in every game but one of the first half of the season. Like, it's crazy.
That's big dump football.
That's right.
It's for the All-Star game, bub. Worldwide.
That's right.
Oh, sorry, Dump. Oh, looks like he's not going to make it. We didn't vote him in.
Maybe next
We didn't
year.
vote him in.
Yeah.
The universe is trying to make it hard. He had a 1 million vote lead over the person he is now battling against in phase 1 of the All-Star voting. That all gets wiped clean. You've done nothing. Now it's phase 2.
So dumb.
So dumb. Speaking of All-Star voting, you see Caitlin Clark?
Oh, yeah. Captain.
Broke the record again.
Broke the record amount of votes. I think 1.4 million or something like that. Last year had 700,000 votes. Her and 3 of her teammates, I believe 4 Indiana Fever players are amongst the top 10 in All-Star voting or whatever. I assume Sophie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I assume Sophie's going to make it. I assume Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah.
Bucket.
Hey, she's a player.
Yeah, she's nasty.
I assume Aaliyah Boston.
She had a big night the other night when Caitlin didn't play.
Okay, here we go.
Commissioner's Cup final tomorrow.
What?
Tomorrow night.
You want to win the Commissioner Cup.
Have to.
Yeah.
Because if they're having a cup, you should want to have it.
No doubt.
Yeah. Especially in this new WNBA where Cece is the show. She's getting hurt though. I don't the groin,
We
the
gotta
hammy.
get her fully healthy.
I don't think was she ever. Do we think?
I mean, you know those groins, they linger.
It was hammy though, right? First time, or was it a groin?
I don't know.
I know it's growing currently. I'm not positive.
I think it was hammy first, then groin. And I wonder if the two go hand in hand there. You know,
Sit her down for a month. Let her sit down for a month and get healthy.
I agree, especially if the team's going to be able to win games.
What about the cup?
They got to make the playoffs.
Well, the Commissioner Cup, she's not going to be able to play anyways because she got. Is she coming back from this groin for the Commissioner Cup? That's a great question.
I would like to win the cup.
They showed inside the locker room the WNBA commish called to congratulate her on being the All-Star game captain. And she basically said, like, listen, Kathy, we're trying to get this dub in the Commissioner Cup. So I think she's going to play tomorrow night.
Okay, I hope so because when she's playing, it's great. She came back from that hammy first game. She had 9 points in like 30 seconds or whatever. Pull up. She's a problem. Cal Raleigh, big dumper. He's framing those things. What am I doing
Is
with my...
WNBA? Does the WNBA have open locker rooms? Like Kaboli can't be going in there interviewing WNBA players, can he?
I don't think Kaboli has...
No team in Pittsburgh.
No credentials for that.
He's not allowed at WNBA games anymore.
So Caitlin Clark, we don't know if that's true. That is, we're not 100% sure if that's true or not. Caitlin Clark did have a hamstring injury, and then now she has a left groin injury. So these are all, these are all strains of things. Those can hang on forever, or those can heal.
Yeah.
It's kind of a question mark, lingering. I assume we need her healthy for, the playoff stretch.
Yeah, big time.
3 new teams, too, coming, WPA, next 5 years.
Who's that?
Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly.
I think those would be good WNBA tons.
1 year after another.
And what are the expansion draft or these new teams? Who are we getting players?
Do it like hockey.
The expansion draft for hockey? Did you see Indianapolis?
Where you can protect players.
Hey, did you see that?
That's huge.
Play right in Cambridge.
Absolutely. I mean, there was news that 4 cities are potentially in the conversation for an expansion NHL team. New Orleans, obviously a city that hosts a lot of things. Austin hosts a lot of things. Houston hosts a lot of things. You know who else hosts a lot of things? Indianapolis, Indiana. You know, has the infrastructure already in place for a hockey team to drop into Cambridge, because there used to be hockey in Cambridge, actually. Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah. Why not Indy getting an expansion NHL team? And with what you just said, AJ, the expansion draft in the NHL, it allows for teams to get good quick, because the NHL understands that if a team comes to a city, if it's a good team, that'll probably be better for success, as opposed to if it's kind of a shite team, nobody's really going to get on board. Expansion draft, every team in the league has to put up a certain amount of players into a pool that you can pull from. And it might be guys that they're trying to get out of a contract with. It might be guys that are a little bit older in the tooth. It might be guys that are just available because you don't want any other guys. There's a chance to get some megastars. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are the most recent example of that. They were able to become the island of misfit toys and become a champion out there quickly. And obviously the Vegas Golden Knights brand became a very big one. And if Indianapolis gets a team, that would be spectacular.
I mean, they should, because those other cities don't give a shit about hockey. So
New Orleans? That's an assumption. Atlanta?
Atlanta's
already
failed
too.
NHL a few times. New Orleans, that's a big hockey city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Indy, especially after the show they just put on in the NBA Finals. It's like you got to look at that at least and be like, show the rumpus and the atmosphere and the fans, like how much they really do ride and die for the Pacers. Like, you should absolutely go to Indy. It's the center of the country too. It's not as if things aren't going, up and up with Caitlin and Tyree.
What's it now? $2 billion, they said, I believe, was the number for the franchise. That's just what you give, and then you have to obviously build the team on top of that. So it's probably a $3.5 billion, $4 billion operation.
Yeah, in the arena if you're not already equipped.
Yeah.
Just got to get a hold of $4 billion, $4 billion.
We already got the arena here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but build it. You don't ever feel like you are small bank at the table. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to operate. Want to be able to be. You're not going to get leveraged out of shit because you don't have enough money. Mm-hmm. You would want to start that venture with a good bankroll,
practice facility,
and that entire thing. Practice facility. How do we spice up these games?
Yeah, a lot of different things.
What's the environment? Players, we're going to have to pay players, obviously. Now, I know there's a cap. We got to do that. But, you always want to be able to. Also, would love to be able to sell, if you're going to do this, $1 hot dogs.
Sure.
Would like to be able to sell $2 beers in this entire thing. Make it a spectacle without having to worry about make money to be able to continue to operate. So that's what I would think. In my mind, they would try to get $4 billion for that. And do they bid for expansion teams so that can get run up there, or is it awarded to teams?
I think they propose a bid to the league, and then the league, like the commissioner and the owners, all look at it and find what is the best fit.
So it's like the city of Indianapolis would be the right one. You get the $2 billion expansion fee plus the build-on team on top of that. As opposed to, hey, Houston just offered up $4 billion for this thing. Indianapolis only offered.
Now there may be an ownership group in those cities that says, hey, we can also include this in our bid. We have we can build our own arena. It's not going to cost anybody anything.
Tax breaks, all that stuff. They got to propose.
Definitely.
I feel like a lot of people would want to get a team.
Yeah.
You know, especially professional sports are the thing to spend money on, the driver for ratings still, and also a good place to, you know, a lot of people flexing that they own teams.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Sitting in suites, doing their things.
Yeah.
Some owners even have press conferences. Just keep it moving. Just want to let you know, my team here, my brand, this is what we're thinking. That'd be cool if they got it. How about Bezos just renting out that whole city?
Crazy. That looked like
For like the last 3 weeks.
So what do you, I wonder, I mean, I'm assuming we'll get the number at some point or how it all happened. He had to have people go to every single business in the city, say, what is your daily rate to rent out? Rent out every single place in the city, right? That is basically how that would go about happening.
Yeah, now I know a lot of those European cities, they just have a designated month off of the year. Like they don't do business. But yes, I thought I heard it was 50 million.
Yeah, 50 million, but I'm just saying.
50 to 100. I heard 50 to 100 just to throw the
And how'd they get to that number? Like, there had to be some sort of money given
He had to donate to, didn't he donate to a lot of local things, they said, to try to, quiet everybody down because they were pissed off that he was, disrupting things.
Yeah, from what I've been told is it went off without a hit. It was from what I've been told, it was a magical moment. I think from the pictures we're seeing. Yeah, I assume it would be. You spend $50 million on an entire city, Venice.
Everyone was there, but yeah, I've been to Europe times where like you go to a store and they're like, "No, this is our off month." Sorry.
That's awesome.
Any of our people there?
That's definitely not right now, though. This is the busiest time of year to be traveling to Italy or anywhere in Europe.
Tom Brady.
Brady was there?
Brady was there, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Brady was there.
Yeah, I wonder how many football people.
Yeah. Herbie there?
Goodell there?
Yeah, Herbie.
I would assume Roger Goodell was there,
Herbie's
right?
Amazon, yeah. Herbie should have been there.
Yeah, I wonder if Herbie has a relate. Is he there?
Might be. Was Ben the ring bearer?
Oh.
Excuse
What
you.
did you-
Peter.
Peter.
You sack it. You son
You
of
know
a
what
man.
I
You
meant.
son of a bitch.
You know what
Show
I
some
meant.
respect to
God
the fallen.
damn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Miss you, Ben.
You got to get that cleared up before we
Love
move
you,
forward.
Ben.
Ben was awesome. Peter's a dog.
He is.
Yeah, except I hate how people have forgotten Ben already because of Peter.
Well, it does appear that is what Ty did, but Ben was a great soul. We were lucky to know.
Trying
Ben.
to honor
Yeah,
him.
obviously he hasn't forgotten him. Guys.
Thank you, D-Butt. Trying to honor the guy.
Oh, yeah? By getting his name wrong?
No.
Getting his face wrong in your mind?
Both these dogs are awesome, and there's also others that are awesome at the Herb Street Manor.
Yep.
Yeah. The undesirables.
Did you see that photo that was? No, they're not. They're just in waiting. Did you see the photo that was put up of Peter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Majestic.
Maybe the best picture that's ever been taken.
Yeah, I think
who
Peter's.
took that?
I think Peter's a-okay going into the season. I think he's in mid-season form.
Jesus Christ took that photo.
If he had color sweat, I'd be a Gatorade commercial.
Yeah, and maybe Gatorade will use this as a commercial.
They should.
Yeah, he should put a little drip off his tongue. Is that his tongue hanging? He is a tongue hanger. That is his tongue hanging. You could easily put Gatorade hanging off of that tongue.
Something to think about.
That's not AI.
No.
The tongue?
Just that picture.
No, he's.
It almost looks like a
Can't roll
drawing.
out.
Peter is a beautiful dog.
Truly.
Big head. Huge head.
Huge paws. Like
Yeah.
I think he's still growing. I think he's gonna be the size of a fucking Arctic wolf whenever it's all said and done. I think so. Good boy though. I mean, he's a good boy.
280 pounds, I heard he's going to be.
There's a chance. I'm like, Herbie, where do you get all these big fucking dogs? He's got a breeder, Mystic Man. Oh, he's got a certain breeder. I forget the name of it. I should do that. But he's
So are they all related? All of his Peter, Ben, everybody?
From the way it's in my head, I've never asked, is it's just like this rolling hills of fields of golden retrievers.
Yep.
Just majestic dogs right in my head. That is how I think of this particular place. And every dog that I've seen come from there is kind of fits the bill.
Yeah.
All of Herbie's dogs are like beautiful coated. You know, they got the whole thing. All right. Congratulations to Aldrich Potgeider.
Yep.
Yeah.
5th playoff hole. 5 playoff holes. It was exhilarating. I did not get to watch all of the lead up to it. I didn't get to watch the entire build the entire day. I just caught it in the playoffs after Mackenzie went to bed. It looked like they had another hour or two of light too, and there was no end in sight. These boys were just kind of getting on, missing putts, go ahead and tap in for par. Both of them got a birdie at one point on a par 5. It was like these guys might play forever. Play forever. That's what I literally thought was going to happen. And then, Paul Geyer takes it home, rolling one home. He missed by about half an inch on the hole before to win it on an eagle putt. And then this one, pure and true center cup. He's from South Africa. His dad was there, got a little bit emotional. He's 20 years old. He was doing some shit with his driver that was turning some heads. This might be the next one. And the other guy that he took on there,
Grayson, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know about what's going on there, you think? Is this what makes me a better golfer?
Protecting his
That's a sun thing. I've heard people talk about the sun, like they're out in the sun so much, or they had like some moles removed or something.
Okay, so that's a sun. Instead of having to wear long sleeves because long sleeves is hot, we would just wear this to keep it.
It seems very uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I thought it was long sleeves, and then I saw him bend over to pick it up, and I saw his the back of his tricep, a little hair popping out of his armpit. I'm like, he's got AI sleeves on right now? Is that what he's in both of them? And I was like, okay, does this make this guy a better golfer? He's in a playoff hole. And then I worried, what if one of those things just tightens up a little bit? You don't want that on a putt.
Is that like a clip that he has on top?
I don't know.
That looks like a whoop band.
Probably is.
That's that whoop. Yeah, a lot of them wear whoop bands up on their arms.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sleeves are, that's for sun purposes.
UV,
Makes it a little better.
Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm with that. I thought it was for swagger, and I was like, I don't know if it's the right one. It's for protection. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna start wearing this. I'm gonna start wearing it.
Help with sunburns.
Yeah, because my skin very pale. I'm asking for it. I go out there. Are we golfing or not?
I think so.
Today or
no?
Your putter come in? Where's the putter?
Great question.
That is a great question.
I haven't even thought about that until. I mean, I would have.
Unmissable. You're gonna make every single putt you take with that.
The unmissable. Thank you. That is exactly how I've been describing it in my head as well. One of those things will work out for me. If it's the taller one, I'll do the lock it up on that, and then I'm just painting that son of a bitch in there. I think we're going to do the golf. Get back into it. It's too good of a sport. Too good of a sport.
It's the best.
Too good of a time. And also, you hit one up here in the sim, and it's like, wait a minute.
This is nice.
Is this sim accurate to what the ball's going to do in real life? I don't know.
Yes.
Because this is seemingly going pretty straight here, and then I get out in real life, gone. It's like, all right, what's the difference here? Is it the open air? Is it the grass? Is it me? Is it the sim? Or is it just the sport in general is impossible?
Yeah. Sometimes you hit it about as good as you possibly could have, and you fucking snap the driver in two, though. That happens every once in a while, too. So
that was unbelievable what you did to Bruce Brown's driver. Yeah. He was having a great round, maybe the best he's ever hit his driver or any of his clubs. And then you got a celebrity shot, and you snapped that fucker right in half.
I did. I put him in position A, though, and what'd he do? He went on to sink a 12-foot par putt.
Wow. That was real. That was.
Did you hit the ground or what?
No.
Or just snapped?
No.
Too strong.
Wow.
Routine.
Yes.
Well,
I
we know how
because I
hard Bruce
looked up.
plays.
I was thinking at first, like, oh fuck, I hope I didn't smack the projector up here and fuck up the simulator. No, I didn't. I hit it about as square as I could. It was maybe the best drive I've ever hit in my life, and that sumbitch just snapped right in two.
There's afterwards.
Oh man.
Oh, up there.
Yeah, that's Big Bob, obviously, because Bruce was having a phenomenal round. Just an absolutely phenomenal round. And then his driver gets snapped at about 25% down the shaft or so. Yeah. But that driver was going to break regardless, Bruce. That's what I think we're trying to say. That thing had a weak top.
Yeah.
Have you continued to play good golf without your driver?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Well, luckily we have two of those up there, so we had one to spare.
Good
luckily.
news.
But I will say, went out and played real golf. I was not nailing any 30-foot putts. I can tell you that much.
You were rolling it on the sim.
Yeah, that is a video game up there. If you can just figure it out a little bit on the sim, you can putt really well, but does not quite translate to the course.
Now, with that being said, shout out to Full Swing fixing our simulator.
Yeah, huge.
We had up here a simulator that was the worst in the history of simulators. Would legitimately let you do the entire setup to get to the golf. Thank God, 15 minutes of this. Boom, 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 get all the way to it. And then it would only let you hit one or two balls, and then guess what it's doing anymore? It's not reading the ball, or it's frozen on the last one. You can reset the computer, do the full setup again. Now we're 30 minutes into this. We've hit two balls, and guess what it did again? Freeze again. Full Swing said that is not how your simulator life should be. got a new computer up there, got a new software up there. It has been awesome. This has been a treat to have actually work. And they did confirm to us that we maybe had the worst simulator in the history of simulators, which we wondered. So we are happy to know that that is the case. Do you remember how big of a pain in the ass this thing was, AJ?
Oh, yeah. I think I hit in there once or twice, and then ever since then, you guys, said absolutely not. This thing is garbage.
Yeah. It was like one of those ones that you would try to create if you didn't have an actual simulator. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it was like. It was just, and who knows if it's real. So we would just hit into an open bay, basically, up there. Now we get a chance to really do it. It's shout out to Full Swing. We're very grateful for you helping us out. Very grateful. All right, let's go do a day. It was a good Monday.
Yeah,
good
great
Monday.
Jalen Ramsey getting traded this morning? Crazy, AJ.
Awesome. Good for him. Good for the Steelers.
They're going all in.
Jonnu Smith, though, don't sleep on him. That dude, he is. They'll line him up everywhere, I bet.
Mark Caboli said that, actually. Mark Caboli, he said his sources telling him tight end, slot, wide receiver, you name it.
Fullback.
There's like everything, yeah. Fullback, H-back, shit. We might have him quarterback.
Same with Jalen.
Jalen Ramsey could be anywhere.
Caboli's tweets.
It's outside, inside, in the backside. Up front. He might be playing D-line.
Anywhere.
Maybe.
What if Jalen Ramsey?
Might have to.
Might have 30
TJ.
Oh, need TJ.
Yeah, where's TJ?
Probably at his house.
Did you see Schefter put out a tweet?
Yeah, the tweet that says Steelers ain't dealing him.
Is that what he said?
They're not dealing with him, I thought it said.
Can we pull up that Schefter tweet that came out during the show? Sources in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. Pittsburgh hasn't shown any willingness to deal Watt so far. But he's unhappy with his contractual situation, and sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given today's trade. There's no way you're able to pay TJ with everything you guys got going on. Plus, he reported that the Pittsburgh Steelers are picking up a big chunk, I believe is the way it was used, of the Jalen Ramsey contract, and they will be picking up a small portion of the Jalen Ramsey contract. That's $26.6 million. So there's a lot of money going there, a lot of money going to Jonnu. And how do you pay TJ? There's still 20-some million available in cap space for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
There was $23 million, and that was before the details came out that the Dolphins were going to pay $7 million of the $26 million. That came out from RAP. So, yeah, they got plenty of cap space. The TJ contract is not going to be a big deal at all. They're not paying any quarterbacks, so that's kind of a cool thing in the NFL.
Yeah, it's like you got a rookie quarterback, but instead you got a 4-time NFL MVP.
Boom.
Yeah, and their quarterback plays the end. So, TJ Watt would have to get the quarterback type contract.
Yeah, and then you have to deal with that for the next 3-4 years.
That's fine. Still don't have any other quarterbacks to pay.
Well, it could be Will Howard. Could be Will Howard.
He's going to be making $600,000 next 3 years.
Is that the actual number?
Well, Purdy was around that number, and Will was a 6th-round pick, so something around there.
Those rookie contracts, quarterback contracts, so vital to a team. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, now is our moment. Metcalf, $30 million. Jalen Ramsey, $19 million. Jonnu, what's he making?
12, I think.
12, yeah.
$12 million.
Nice.
Brand new Steelers.
Darius Slay. This is a brand new Steelers down there. All right, if this goes in, they're winning the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Boom.
That was going in.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
All right, on that
Here
note,
we go.
Steelers, here we go. Pittsburgh's winning the Super Bowl. Here we go. That's what the ball said right over there.
Here we go.
Aaron Rodgers and his cool fucking hair.
Here we go.
We signed guys we wouldn't sign before because it's this season. We're trying to win some more. Here we go. Steelers. Here we go. Could be. They're going all in. They're sick of people, the insiders being like, we're done with the over 500 shit. We're sick of it. Fired an offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. Hadn't done that ever. Now they're pushing money in big in the free agency world, trading for big names, accomplished guys already. Guys that I assume Tomlin has been a big fan of throughout their entire career.
Oh, yeah.
All these guys are guys that Tomlin has come up to and said, I'm going to get you when you're old and cheap. He said that to everybody, I would assume. And Omar Khan obviously making it all happen. Good for the Steelers. It's kind of a shame we got guilt-tripped into doing training camp up or a show up at their training camp. But I guess we'll go.
Yeah, have to.
I guess.
Get to watch Jalen Ramsey and DK go one-on-one.
Yeah.
We've seen some tape of them in the past whenever NFC West opponents. Have you seen this tape?
I have not.
Not the greatest of friends.
Fierce competitors.
Yeah, fierce competitors.
Geno Smith takes a shot late from Jalen Ramsey. I'm sure he didn't like that and probably told somebody about it. We'll talk more about that. Metcalf, though, goes finger in the face. What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you think this is, huh? He's defending his guy. I think everybody respects it. Jalen goes, whoa. Lost my balance. That should be at least 15, maybe 20. That should be a 20-yard penalty in the entire thing. Did you see Geno this weekend?
Yes, I loved it. Where was that? What was the situation?
Looks like this is flag football or
7-on tournament.
Yeah, and his team. And I know there's a lot of guys that have teams, and I know these tournaments get very, very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
I know these are also synonymous with camps too. So I think there's a full development of football, and I think a lot of these guys really care about how their camp and their team is doing. And Geno talking big shit to somebody that his team obviously just beat. What did this tell you?
This told me for the Patriots, who they play the Raiders week 1, got to be a little more careful about Geno now going forward. I don't want to piss him off. I don't want to say anything out of pocket because, well, he's either listening or he will hear it and he will respond. And I don't want to be the guy that causes Geno Smith to go up and down the sideline yelling. That's why they pay me the big bucks, because that scares me.
I mean, he's peacocking on somebody there, AJ. Yeah. I haven't been to one of these tournaments. I haven't got a chance to experience it. It feels like this happened after our generation. I think it's awesome. I think more reps is good for all parties, especially with the way football is. But this type of intensity, you don't get to feel that much.
No.
You know, like you don't get to feel that much like buy-in and also want to let a motherfucker know. You know, that doesn't, those types of opportunities don't always just show up, AJ.
Yeah, I assume he's yelling at the other team's coaches or parents or any, yeah, obviously it looked like a spirited game that he came out on top, so yeah, why not?
Cam Newton got in a fight in one of these, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
with like 10 dudes.
Yeah.
Cam's team.
That wasn't even during the game, though.
Cam has produced a lot of, as far as his teams, produce a lot of NFL talent. But yeah, the shit talking is a lot of cash shit talking out there. A lot of people, other coaches you probably grew up with, you know them, talking shit, calling, he's a quarterback, obviously calling plays, big time plays, emotions, testosterone, it happens.
Huge win.
Massive.
Well, if Geno's this locked in on that, you're talking.
Oh, yeah.
Chip Kelly calling the plays?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Pete loves it.
What?
Maybe Geno just call his own shit.
You're right. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Is Chip Kelly asked for his plays? I mean, he's pretty comfortable with these. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. What a time in sports.
What a time.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We're in this thing together. Thank you to sports for giving us shit to talk about every day. More specifically, today. This is great. We need tomorrow to be like today.
Yes.
Free agency for the NBA starts this evening. There's going to be some big conversation. Remember, Shams is all giddy about something big that's coming out. Team on 3. Fuck. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.